Gathered friends, listen again to our legend of Robot Space Jesus. I am here today with all the people that you know and love, every single one of them. We got Levi.
Yes.
We've got Levi's horrific growth on the side of his head, who's choosing to stay silent, apparently. We've also got Liam.
Hello.
And we've got what I assume is Josie. We took our eyes off of her for a brief moment, but she's fine.
Hello.
The Josie we all know and love.
Yeah.
I am clearly Cat.
See? That's exactly what Josie would say.
Also, if my stomach starts talking, it's clearly me still. I might be
Meme and
hungry.
Twitter and such.
Just so we're clear, what would your stomach sound like? That's your cue, Ori.
Oh, well, I'm back! Orikume is back for another final episode.
Cool.
The Last of Sass is back.
Apparently my stomach says things.
It's got a mind of its own.
I love
yes.
the world building!
We sure are here to talk about a lot of world building, such as the ones that we read about in the book and watched in the movie. Yes, that's right, we're talking about the events of The Legend Reborn, the movie, and also some ancillary stuff around it. So, first of all, I suppose, anybody got any brief opening thoughts before we jump right into the story?
I am clearly Cat.
Well, I sure do love how Matanui's mask was shot out of the entire galaxy.
You know...
I thought that was... Okay, it kind of makes sense looking back with,
It does?
the whole planned versus not planned article that was, because, like, originally it was a separate planet and not a chunk of Spheres Magna.
Okay.
No, everyone knows that masks act like boomerangs. You throw them and then they come right back.
I like to think
that entire... Sorry.
Yeah, I like to think that Makuta did shoot him out of the galaxy, but the gravitational pull of Barra Magna was just so strong it pulled him back in.
You know, actually, that's plausible.
No, it's not.
I mean, okay,
Not
no,
with the distances involved.
In sci-fi.
No, it got fucking
Unless-
yeeted. That is not plausible.
Unless, here's another stupid thought. What if it was Matanui's influence pushing the mass back? Don't ask how it works.
He just knew he really needed to go to this desert planet
Unless
to
it
find
was,
a little
unless
beetle
it was like
friend.
an outside help. Like,
I mean, it
I
wouldn't be
don't
the
know.
only miracle he
It's
performed in the
interesting.
movie.
I have to ask, have we explained anything else besides Matanui at this point? Like, say, an object in space?
Well, I mean, we briefly touched on that at the end of the last episode, but yeah, the Mask of Life is floating in space right now, because Makuta shot it out the what was known as the universe into the big universe, the real one. And,
Yes.
now it's just floating around.
So,
and it does
Matanui
indeed
now
crash.
walks around on Earth. Oh.
Oh.
You
No.
monsters! You blew it up!
Unfortunately, it's not Earth. But it is a whole lot of Earth, by which I mean dirt. A whole lot of dirt on the desert planet.
I hate
Barra Magna.
sand. It's coarse and it gets everywhere.
Hell yeah. I love sand, because if you add a little haha, it makes glass. Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to go away now.
Speaking of which, when Matanui crashed down, we mentioned this last time, he did make glass in that crater. You don't see it in
That
the
is-
movie, but it's there.
It's there.
And also, apparently his body is made of sand. I wonder if that's made of glass, in a roundabout way. But
Does that
anyway,
make him the most fragile being on the entire planet at that point?
mayhaps.
You know, other than some of their egos?
I thought he made like a, or it was like a kind of like a Glatorian body, not necessarily a Toa body.
Yeah, but he did make it out of sand.
You know, I almost wonder... There's
it,
a
like,
lot
weird?
of theories. There's a lot of theories, but I can't go into them because we've got a baby. We got a baby still. I want to talk about the things we know.
So badly. I
You can
agree.
talk about it in the spoiler chat later.
All right.
So yeah, getting back into the story then. The Masanui, he gets happened upon by a little beetle who, oh my goodness, what a lovely boy this is.
He is the best,
Click,
and
he
I
was who
love
he
him,
named.
and I want him, and he is mine and a friend to everybody who exists.
Look at him wiggle. Oh,
Bug
so
hug.
cute. I love him so much. That is, of course, Click. He sees Madanui when he first awakens. He's Madanui's first friend, really. And, yeah, he turns into a shield.
Yeah, that's
Why?
the thing.
He protect. He
Which
attack.
apparently in the book only has a symbol that looks like an eye, and in the movie it's literally just his whole fucking face.
You know, the disturbing part is the original script called for him to be transformed into a shield, and that's it. He doesn't transform back.
Oh, wow.
They changed it at the last second. Yeah. He
Those
would have been
curses,
stuck
am
in
I
shield
right?
form, right? He would never have been able to turn back, but they decided, no, Matanui needs a little friend.
Oh, well, I'm so glad
They
he
need
does
they need
transform
them
back.
they need the anime mascot pet character.
Hell yeah. Good. Well, it's a good job he can transform into and out of a shield form at will, because he has to protect Matanui from a Vorox attack. Remember when Vorox were threatening? Well, this guy sure does. But yeah.
By the way,
Mhm.
so normally we don't do this to Levi, but I have to ask, so did you see the set form of Click yet?
Yes, and I am buying it.
Nice.
Okay.
I am not just buying it. Liam informed me that there are also two forms of Puku. One of
officially,
them
yes, there
is the official one, like the design of Puku, and then one is a tiny little adorable boy who I want to protect
Oh
me.
yes, the original
Yes.
Uso crab is so adorable.
Yes.
Oh, so
I
cute.
actually have the ability to build at least two of those right now.
Nice.
Do it, or you are not human.
I think I left it actually built in the box like that. Just when I put it away, I left one built. Or
That
was
is
that
good.
a Fico? I'd have to double check. I haven't opened that box in like a year now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the Click Shield does indeed protect Matanui from the Vorox. Manages to even smash the Vorox's tail on it. Its stinger tail. Which Matanui then picks up and uses as a sword. Neat.
beware my stinger tail.
That's where the TV tropes page comes from. That's it. And then when Click transforms back, Matanui says, "Oh, thank you," and all that. And there's this great line where he says, "Before this day, I never needed help from anyone or anything." I'm just like, is Matoro a joke to you?
The Toamata.
I mean, technically, he didn't need help from Batoro, he just needed him to die.
I
How
mean,
about
still.
that one Toa on Jovan's team that also died?
Yeah. Rip.
Like, there's an entire level of just people helping Matanui to this day. And it's like, how about whoever built your body in the first place? I'm sorry.
and also like
We don't know
all the
who they are,
all the maintenance
but-
for
Right?
Yeah.
How about everybody living inside of your body up to this point?
He also mentions at the
nothing?
start of the movie that he was beholden to no one, except, the people who made him and gave him a mission to fulfill.
Yeah. I guess he got a bit of a god complex about that. And kind
A
of forgot.
bit.
No, he didn't get a god complex and forget. He just found a really interesting ball.
Yeah. Yeah. So, in case it wasn't obvious at this point, Masanui's, I guess what we know about Masanui's mission so far is that he was supposed to go out into the stars and study planets. And at some point that all went wrong. The whole Makuta, sending him into a coma thing. And then
Yeah,
crash landed
that would kind
on
of suck.
Aqua Magna. So, what happens next? Oh yes, Metis approaches Matanui in his car. Oh yeah, by
Metis?
the way, they have cars on Barra Magna.
Or Dune
Blowing
chariots.
our mind.
So, up until this point, we've only ever seen them riding on horses, but apparently they also have cars.
Oh, and motorbikes, according to
And
the comic.
motorbikes.
Which have
Yes.
wheels!
Yes.
Real
Yes.
wheels! My goodness,
Well,
what a fabulous technology.
Well, wait, actually, the Matoran universe does have one vehicle that does have wheels.
It's true.
Yes, that is true.
It has
And also
one
they have-
motorcycle.
And as you recall, there's also other technology that is alien to them, such as this flimsy piece of something that just has writing on it.
Yes.
We're not sure what it's made of.
Oh,
The point is, they try to make these things seem so alien to them, and it's like,
This is
come on,
another
we know what a
desync.
wheel is. We know what paper is. Just
yeah.
invent something new, like a crazy laser gun or something.
Oh, they did plenty of those too.
Yeah, well,
The crazy laser guns were less crazy than the paper.
Also,
You're not wrong.
it's been said that the Agori can't invent new things.
Yeah, they just
Can't
like
they physically
hodgepodge
come
things
or-
together.
Something along the lines of how their society de-evolved over the course of events after the Shattering. They lost the ability to create new things.
Okay, so this is Dragon Quest Builders rules, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
so basically, planet explodes and people are dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Matanui is the only one with the ability to make a fancy sword.
Yeah.
Wait, is this idiocracy in a new skin?
No, it's just idiocy.
Yeah. Although, actually, speaking of the cars, there is a line somewhere in the book, I can't remember exactly where, that does explain why we haven't seen them before. Apparently they're just unreliable as heck. Like, they're always breaking down, which is why they prefer to ride
Jeez.
horses. So, yeah, at least there's that. And,
Why
yeah,
couldn't
Matanui-
Click turn into a giant horse? That would have been amazing.
Or a giant bug car.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just the same, but bigger.
So Click
maybe
is
just
Speed
ride on
Bunky
back.
confirmed. That would have been amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry to derail, but
He
No,
would be a
that's fine.
dune buggy.
So anyway, Metis does confront Matanui. He's like, "Hey, who are you?" And Matanui's like, "I'm a boy. Hey, do you know where the nearest boys are?" He's like, "Okay, just this way." And gives him a ride over to Volcanus. And on the ride
Yes.
over there, they talk about, what happened to Barra Magna. Why is it so barren and magna? and they speculate that, maybe it was evil stuff. Maybe it was an earthquake or volcanic eruption or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Metis, I'm pretty sure you and basically every other named character is old enough to remember the war. Like,
yeah, I
you
was
know
about to
what
say,
happened.
none of them have died.
Yeah.
It does mention earlier on that a lot of them have just forgotten.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long time ago. I can give them that.
Araki
Still.
forgot.
It's Matoran rules where they have to wipe their hard drive every few thousand years.
Now, you say that, but the problem is, can I go ahead and just say it?
Mm-hmm.
They're pure biological.
Yeah, I know, it mentions that. They just have to wipe their own memories. Their brain is only so big.
I guess that's a fair point.
I suppose. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. They just need to download to some sort of backup drive, and they just haven't.
Yeah, I mean, they are roughly human-sized, so I guess they'd have a roughly human-sized brain, which isn't designed to carry, 100,000 years worth of information.
Wait, are you saying a Gori would be about the size of a human?
I'm saying Glatorian would be.
Oh, okay. I was about to say. Because imagine what that would make Latorin at that point. We got freaking
Ugh.
a crapload of Undertaker and Kanes walking around. And here comes Big Show in the form of Malum.
Yeah, no, even on Barra Magna, we still have, the normal people and the manlets, so...
Also,
the manlets.
A lot of them have forgotten the war, but there are still some that remember anyway, so why don't they just remind them that, a lot of people fucking tried to kill each other,
Especially considering certain Glatorian, like fucking Swertavus, wrote books
That's a good point. What happened to all the books?
And considering that, I mean, their entire fucking society is based on, hey, let's never do that again.
Yeah.
I think what happened is, if it's true that the Agori can't make anything new, I think they just can't make any more paper and they ran out of paper to write books with.
If only they'd written on something more permanent, something hard and just long-lasting.
I'll give you something hard.
A Mighty Tuma?
But it won't be long-lasting.
We're not there yet.
Wow! Wow!
Bravo.
I've been holding on that for weeks.
I didn't know my stomach could do some sick burns.
I was holding on that one for weeks.
Okay, so let's see. Now we get into one of those baby book for babies.
Yes.
the little young readers books.
The one thing I that's like really jarring about these books is how like they're so like compartmentalized, where every sentence is only like 5 words long.
Oh yeah.
With like no changes in punctuation or anything.
Well, yeah.
Also, I wanted to bring up one thing I noticed, because I did read about the first chapter. So, if I recall correctly, Matanui's blog, that was actually a serial, right? That's not written into the books?
That was in the, what's it called? The
Matanui's Guide to Baramagna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
I do have something to say about one of the later
before, and it's because I
entries in
never
that.
picked up that particular guide.
Same.
I never picked up Makuta's guide either.
Me
Yeah,
neither.
I may actually. I might try and buy them recently. I think I can get it for like $4 to $11 on Amazon.
Yeah, they're pretty
That's not
cheap.
bad.
Even in hardcover, they're pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's impossible to buy the art book for G2.
How many of those were made? Like 1,000 or something?
100.
100,
Exactly
geez.
100. But we did also get the digital files to host on our website as we want, and I literally, everybody else that I know I'm sidetracking, I apologize. Everybody I know tried to downsize their file size, and I'm like, there you go. I just threw up the original full-sized. Didn't care.
Nice.
Honestly, I kind of prefer the digital because I can zoom in on the images and they're still clear.
I kind of wanted both options because the prestige of having this hard copy book to be able to just display it. Plus, it was individually numbered. We ended up getting numbers 48 through 53, I think.
Nice.
Cool.
For BSL1. But of course, Doric doesn't want to give me a single one. I already put my claim down for number 52 because I'm a DC Comics fan.
Nice.
And he still wouldn't give it to me. Anyway, sorry for the sidetrack. I apologize.
Yeah, no, speaking of hardcover books, though, certainly when Biological Chronicle, when that's like finished and TuragaNuva is happy with it, I definitely want to get a hardcover copy of that.
Oh yeah,
Is
absolutely.
he going to be making those, or are you going to have to like go through a third party?
Probably going to have to be a third party. Yeah, technically,
Because I would have
TuragaNuva would
thought
not
he
be able
wouldn't
to
be allowed to.
purchase
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are ways to do like small run printings and things.
And potentially you wouldn't be able to sell it, but you could potentially give it away or do it as kind of like a non-profit donation thing.
Yeah.
Where you pay into a non-profit to, donate, and then we'll just give you the book. It's doable.
That seems very sketchy, but yeah.
If you give it to a reputable charity and then just promise this item, at least some money has been exchanged and it goes to the right places.
Yeah, that's true.
But you're still not making a dime off of it.
Yeah.
Speaking of the right places, the right place for us to be is Vulcanus.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Or Volcanus, perhaps, depending on who you ask.
No.
I've always said Vulcanus. It's
I've always said Volcanus, like the Ben 10
Same.
character.
Y'all just
Vulcanus,
don't want to say anus.
True.
Yes,
Do you
exactly
disagree?
true.
some of us also haven't looked at Baramagna's map in like 10 years, so
Fair enough. So yeah, Matanui and Metis arrive in Volcanus. And,
Are we just going to skip over Sandbat?
Oh yeah, that whole thing. They get attacked by a sandbat.
Which Motonui mistakes for a Rahi.
Yeah,
that
he's
was
like,
funny.
oh, find its
I
mask
like
and knock it
how
off.
Metis, like, when Monui's like, knock off the mask, was like, but they don't wear masks. They, like, or pants or hats.
Yeah.
Also, how would he know anything about masks like that? Like, just knock off the mask, and it's like, first of all, when have
Because
you
he
ever
knows everything
seen
that goes on
Rahi?
inside him.
Actually, that's a fair point. Yeah, that whole thing with
whole
Makuta
mask thing-
controlling the things with masks, that happened while Masanui was asleep.
Yeah, but
it happened up on
explains
his
that Matanui knew what was going on while he was asleep. Like, he wasn't actually asleep. He just
It was kind of ambiguous of that, though. That's the...
Yeah. He never really talks about specifics about what happened while he was asleep. He just says,
But he does-
evil happened.
well,
He
he
understood
seems to
evil.
know that Makuta like led wars and shit and.
Yeah, okay, but that was inside of him. We're talking stuff that happened on his face.
the Kininui sensors.
Yeah, I'd buy that.
Whatever.
Would he not know what was going on inside his face if he did? If he also knew what was going on inside his liver?
But I'm saying it happened on top of his face on the outside.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
I
I mean,
know
like-
what's happening on my face better than what's happening in my liver. So,
yeah.
Okay, but can you tell me how much bacteria is on your face right now? Because that's literally the equivalent of what's happening with him on that at that point
yeah, but he has, like, God sensors.
for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the podcast where we talk about bacteria on your face. Please feel free to pause right now, go scrub your face, and come right back. We won't go anywhere. Lies,
Or it
we're
could
going
just
nowhere.
be more of a, like aimed at the viewer kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously what it's there for, is just like, we're not on Matanui's face anymore. That sort of thing.
Am I fulfilling
although-
Josie's role adequately enough?
Yes, definitely. But on that note, actually, if you look at the artwork, it is literally wearing a Kanoe Shelek, so...
I've seen so many mocks of the Sandbat back in the day.
I also want to say, by the way, Motonui, this is probably a TuragaNuva thing, just because he didn't know where to fit it in, but he brought out his sword. What sword exactly?
Well, the Vorok's tail.
Yeah.
Or maybe the illustrator or writer mistook the shield
shield.
for a sword.
Yeah, because in the art, he just had the shield, so...
No,
So this was-
it was
okay.
the sword from the movie.
Oh, rip.
Yeah, and there's really no excuse here because this particular young reader book was released April 2009. That was
way before the movie.
5
it was
months
also
before the
stated-
movie comes out.
It was also stated in Motonui's blog exactly where it takes place. It is literally on their way to Volcanus. There is no wiggle room like there was with the TuragaNuva ones.
Right.
Oops. Oh, well.
So,
Continuity errors!
good job, Greg.
Yeah.
Because that was written by him.
I love how
Then again,
the
then again, I mean, how much of that is on Greg and how much of that is on the illustrator itself? Because he did have the stinger tail.
Yeah, I'd count that as a sword, so...
yeah.
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 And it's possible that that guy interpreted it to say, oh, well, I'll just follow the set form that had a sword.
The set didn't even have a sword, it was just like the movie.
The Titan set did.
Oh, that's true. But it doesn't look like that one either, it looks like the one from the movie.
I know. I can't excuse that. So, moving
I
on.
love how one of the pictures when like the Sandbat crashes into like the vehicle clearly just is in pieces.
Yeah, but then they just carry on anyway.
Yeah. Well, it sucks that our vehicle's destroyed, but since it kind of works in the next scene, we're going to ignore that. Moving on.
Yeah.
It's Lego, you can put it back together.
So yeah, they do eventually arrive at Volcanus, just in time for a Glatorian match, in fact. The one that Metis was talking about last time. It's Strack versus Akar, for no real reason other than just for entertainment.
Get him, Strack!
Yeah. Yeah, we got all those villagers who look exactly like Metis and Ranu. Apparently they all wear the same helmets.
Won't be the first time we see that.
Well, yeah.
I find that hilarious, but then again, we're a little spoiled from the first movie where all the Matoran had different types of Kanohi to work off of, and different colors. But
And they
now
still only
it's
use
just
the same 3 or 4.
We forgot to mention the opening scene with the Legend Reborn with the recolored Avmatoran.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
And the
Fun
still tropical island of Motunui.
which should have been destroyed. Yep.
You know,
I mean,
funny thing about the
if we're
Avmatoran, actually.
if we're really gonna get into that, we should also talk about how there are continents and shit on Aqua Magna. There are planets all over the bloody place.
There's Jupiter.
can we go into the
how,
real
and how when
continuity
when
drop?
Motunui's coming down to crash onto Barra Magna, suddenly Aqua Magna and Boda Magna are 2 completely different planets, which are just like colored asteroids.
Yeah.
I should also point out another continuity error. So that entire scene with the Abatoran, that was supposed to be Cardanui. Did that look anything like 2008 to anybody else?
Avmatoran.
I thought it was just
That's
like
about it.
I thought it was like in the weird like 2B center part. Like
Okay, but the point is, it looked nothing like 2008's like setting, which was supposed to be the entirety of Cardanui.
The entire movie looked nothing like 2008, though.
That is true.
The entire
this movie
year
does
looked
have a very
nothing like
interesting
2008.
aesthetic. I do find it funny that the first 3 Bionicle movies, which focused on characters that were mostly robotic, looked pretty organic, and then this movie, which focuses on organic characters, they look entirely robotic.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Yeah, the spinning Lego pins and
Yeah.
Those things are so distracting.
Years
I hate
ago,
them.
my friend apparently noticed an animation error in those where it's like every time it makes a full rotation, they skip a frame or 2.
Oh my gosh.
How did we miss that?
Yeah, I never noticed that. Maybe that's only an issue in the American version, because I've seen like comparison shots of certain films in America and the UK, and the different ways they encode the 24 frames per second original film, adapt it for DVD or whatever. There's different methods they can do it, and sometimes it ends up skipping frames.
Yeah, I was watching those
but
spinning...
what he mentioned was like only those parts of the model are skipping frames.
I was watching those parts quite intently for a few seconds with rage brimming inside of me, and I didn't notice any skipping, so it might have been a problem with the one he watched.
But maybe it was only like in a particular scene or something.
Also, on a completely unrelated note, there's some new special field research in Pokemon Go.
Brilliant.
Why are you talking about Pokemon right now?
Because I can!
It's a throwback
Also,
to when
I'm
he made them
participating in
scream.
an ARG called the New Newology Network. Fuck you.
Okay. So anyway, Metis
Back to
introduces Matanui.
Volcanus.
Yes, Metis introduces Matanui to Ranu, the mayor of Fireland. He says, "Hey, this is my new friend. He's not from around here. Ranu's the leader, Matanui. Here he is." And Ranu's like,
He's
"Oh,
voiced by Quark from Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Is he now?
Huh.
Yes.
Would you like to buy a shiny boy?
Also, I guess we should go over that Matanui is voiced by Worf himself.
That is true. Yeah.
They have actually
Quark
interacted
tried
before.
to sell
Oh,
Wolf.
yeah. Oh, that would have been an
Sorry, to buy
interesting
Wolf.
conversation in the recording studio. Be like, all right, how have you been? I'm fine. How about you? Since we were last in that bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
now we're
posted
just
this.
talking about a toy.
Hold on.
Okay.
Good
I
times.
posted this earlier in the recording chat, but I have Michael Dorn's signature on my copy of Legend Reborn.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I had asked very specifically, so what was his response? And unfortunately, the response,
Yes,
of course, was...
He was
Good.
just tired because it's like the end of like signing, and this is in summer
Sorry,
of
there's somebody at my door. Cut all
Arizona
that out.
Comic Con.
Okay.
So it's like really hot. So he just looked out of it by the time I got his signature.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I suppose. But yeah, this movie has a pretty all-star cast, to be honest. We got James
Oh, yeah.
Arnold Taylor in on this. We got Jim Cummings. We got everyone.
Armin
Jeff-
Shimmerman.
Yeah.
Who
the
is,
voice
the
of
guy that
Johnny
plays-
Bravo.
Yeah, I didn't know about that one.
That one kind of slipped by me as well. That I could not have placed that if you'd asked me.
Like the voice of Strack is also Johnny Bravo.
And
It
speaking
probably
of
would
Strack-
have been more noticeable if if he hadn't been putting on a Scottish accent.
That was not Scottish.
Strack
That was
have a
Russian.
Scottish accent.
I'm sorry. That was always Russian to me.
Yeah, that's
I've
not
always
Scottish. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, either way,
I don't know,
like,
he sounded
okay,
like-
well, I guess it makes sense. He could be like Siberian or something.
I could accept if it was a Scotsman doing a Russian accent or a Russian trying to do a Scottish accent. I don't know which way you want to go with that, but the point is, it was weird and it didn't need to be in this movie. I'm sorry.
He sounded like your
But
stereotypical
now I want to hear
dwarf
Strack
noise.
sounding like Johnny Bravo.
It makes no less it makes no less sense than Lewa, okay?
Now I have to wonder how many more people in this movie were voiced by people that were literally in every single original Cartoon Network show from like the early 2000s, late 90s. Because that's Johnny Bravo. That's technically you've got Cow and Chicken represented because of I Am Weasel with Michael Dorn. Fun fact for you if you don't remember that one. What else? Were there any
James
Powerpuff
Arnold
Girl
Taylor.
references? Yeah, and that's from the Clone Wars from the
Obi-Wan.
second wave. Yeah. Was
That's
that?
right.
I don't know. Did they also keep him for the first original one in 2003? I can't remember.
I know he's in Rebels.
Mm.
He does a lot of. He's like the go-to for Obi-Wan voice.
Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, my point is, this almost feels like a who's who of classic Cartoon Network.
Yeah, kind of. And of course we
It's
got...
just a shame that they got such a great cast with such terrible direction.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yes.
Yeah,
you
I was
imagine
loving all
if-
the voice actors, but like the direction, fuck me.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I said this to Levi earlier, but you can really tell they weren't recording in the same room at the same time. Like, there are points where they're talking to each other and just... The chemistry just isn't there at all. You're practically talking over each other.
It's really unfortunate because Keenan nailed like 90% of her lines, and like
Absolutely.
Michael
You know-
Dorn, it was kind of stilted because he's not really a voice actor per se, but you can tell it kind of worked because I can imagine that voice as Matanui, like Matanui only ever having experience talking down to people as a god, like.
Yeah.
You know, and that might be
he's
kind of what his
always
direction
in
was
giving
anyway.
a speech mode.
Yeah, that might have been his direction from the very beginning. It's like, okay, you are God. Okay. And
I wanted to
you are
mention, too,
supposed to... Go ahead.
I just wanted to say too, like Levi mentioned that the voice acting is incredibly stilted for a lot of characters, and I feel like in the case of Matanui, he should be more stilted, because if you really think about it, at what point in his entire 100,000 year existence has he ever spoken? Never mind to people,
explicitly-
just speaking at all.
It explicitly says that he has spoken. He's at least spoken to the Great Spirits and to the
mean the Great
Matoran
Beings?
when... the Great Beings. And to the Matoran when he was trying to explain the three virtues. He says that... he says that he tried to pass on the three virtues
Well,
to the
let me put it
Matoran.
this way. There's a difference between speaking to someone and speaking at someone. And
That's-
if you're a god, you're never speaking to someone.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
having a conversation
like-
with someone.
But I
At that
do
point,
imagine that the great beings would have at least given him like the ability to orate, like to give a speech.
I know he has that ability, but like, how often does he use it? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like it's been at the very least, it's been over 1,000 years since he's opened his mouth at all.
I just don't think that a creature that's capable of ripping a planet in half should sound like an awkward teenage boy trying to start up a conversation with
You
a
know,
girl he
we've
likes.
never actually established that he can rip a planet in half.
Well, it does.
I'm not
It
gonna
says
go into
that
a lot of
explicitly in the book.
Yeah, and it also, like, the Great Spirit Robot has, like, gravity powers, specifically.
Yeah.
He just has that in his hands, so
Yeah.
he could do that very easily.
I mean, at the end of the
That's
day, he's 40 million feet tall. He's probably pretty strong.
Except in
Don't
the
even
movie,
go
he
there
looks
with that
about
thing.
he looks about like about the size of a small skyscraper, which is pretty big.
I am
but
so goddamn pissed about that $40 million foot.
why would you ever give a solid measurement on something that ties you so specifically to having to make him fucking incredibly like unimaginably enormous to the point where it would be annoying
the
to
problem
animate.
is, I have a theory on why the size is the way it is. It's probably they just did the math wrong.
Yeah.
No, I get why it had to be that big to be like.
I'll tell you what happened.
Or it
what
could
happened
be-
is somebody asked Greg a question of how tall is Matsunui, and he gave the most ridiculous answer he could possibly give
A
without
cop-out
considering, without considering the actual scale of how big 40 million stupid.
No, I actually do think some.
They had reference pics beforehand.
I actually do
But
think
the
that
problem
there
is
was some
that's still
thought
a
put into.
fourth of what he said.
Yeah, I know, but
I know.
I do think there was some thought put into that decision because, as I've explained it before, I went in and looked at the maths of it, and that is just a bit bigger than Africa. And to be fair, the distance that they're described traveling in the earlier books, like, there's huge lands within him, like, entire continents worth of lands.
Yeah.
So
And it is also
it does
worth
make
noting
sense
that
for him to be that big.
Magna-
But why in
Barra
fuck
Magna
would they
on
ever
it-
give a specific number?
Barra Magna on its own is apparently the size of Jupiter, and you can fit Earth inside Jupiter's red spot by itself. So in context to that, 40 million feet tall, or as you say, the size of Africa, is like a speck.
Yeah.
I hate to rain on your parade, but Africa is not 40 million feet.
I know, I
end to
said
end.
it was a bit bigger. Like, not...
Okay, the diameter of the Earth is 12,000 feet. Wait, sorry, 12,000 kilometers. Shit, okay, hang on.
Yeah.
What's that in feet?
Yeah.
What are you on about?
Hang on. 1 second. 12,000...
Also, while you're
Could it
looking
be-
stuff up,
Okay,
check your messages, Curtis.
no.
Could it actually
Never.
probably
Oh.
not be
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
40 million?
Yeah, okay.
Or it could actually be 40 million bio or keo.
It's also worth
No,
noting,
no,
too.
it was very
it's also worth
specifically stated.
It's also worth noting, too, that I'm pretty sure, technically speaking, Spherus Magna would be bigger than Barra Magna.
Right.
It probably would
Okay.
have, like, in the way the shattering happened, it probably would have been, the planet would have been like an oblong shape for a while, but over 1,000 years it probably would have smoothed itself out a little bit.
Also, all that water would have been gone.
Yeah.
So, like, the sea
So-
levels, the seabed would have been exposed.
So
It's like
I
if you
went ahead.
drained all the... Oh, sorry.
Sorry. I went ahead and looked it up. 40 million feet is the equivalent of 12,192 kilometers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is approximately the diameter of the Earth, yeah.
Yeah, so Matanui is about 1.5 times the length of Africa from north to south. A
That's
little
fair
bit.
enough, I guess. Yeah.
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 But,
Either
yeah.
way, the 40 million feet thing isn't too bad when you think about it. If anything, I think the scale that the scale that Faber had would be too small, taking into account the size of Spherus Magna. Now, if Spherus Magna were the size of Earth, yeah, that's still too big, actually. But still, I think it's a lot more reasonable if you take into account the size of the planet.
I mean, I just do what I
either
always
way,
do with big numbers in Bionicle. I just mentally divide it by 1,000. And,
Right?
yeah.
Well, if we do that, I mean,
40,000 feet. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
20,000 would be reasonable.
I mean,
Because
the Death Star is actually smaller than our moon.
Yeah.
the
like
whole point is it's just an unreasonable number because, more to the point, think about how long it would take to build that. But I guess we're not even close to that yet. We don't even know who the builders are yet.
Think about this. How long does it take to get through a movie?
I
40
think
minutes
we're
of
already
recording
halfway
and-
through the movie right now. If we were to
No,
start
we're
from
still...
there.
I think we haven't
No.
even
I
done-
meant like in terms of runtime. We are already well past halfway,
Oh,
and we
yeah.
haven't even entered the second scene yet.
Nope.
Nope.
So finally, we do get to Strack versus Akar. They're going at it. By the way, is it Akar or Akar?
my.
They keep flip flopping on it.
You know,
Here's Matanui or Matanui?
I hate to digress again, but this is a thing that I do not trust the pronunciations or anything in the movie at all, just because the script is incredibly inconsistent. One of the biggest things I found when watching this movie is how often they flip-flop between Glatorian and Glatorians.
Yep, I was just about to say that. I never noticed that before.
The book doesn't do that at all. It's just Glatorian. Yep. So I don't trust the movie at all, personally.
So on BSL1, we talk about the actual pronunciation with an official Greg discussion link. It's literally Ak-R.
So where's the emphasis?
On the R, it looks like. Well, it doesn't really have an emphasis. It's not a capital R or anything, so I guess it's like Ak-R or Acker.
I've been saying Acker.
Okay. Yeah, I usually say Akar just because Akar sounds stupid.
Yeah. I don't like Akar. Yeah. Akar is probably better than Akar. It's a word.
Yeah.
So Red Boy here is fighting Ice Boy here.
He sure is, yep. And he's doing
And
pretty well.
Ice Boy's a bastard.
Yes. Akar does beat down Strack. He's like, I win, say you lose. And Strack's like, fine, whatever.
Yes,
and then stabs him in the back
I
immediately.
Give up. Yeah. Also, I'm going to betray you.
Yeah, just throws his axe at him. And
but not as much of a shit-pilfering little fucking weasel sardine hybrid as Meatus. I hate him. I knew it.
We'll get to him.
So, I want to point out another thing. This was also very interesting. This was the first time in Bionicle history we finally had hand-to-hand combat actually canon.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. But before this,
it took us 9 years.
In the movies, yeah, certainly in the movies they really shied away from that.
Honestly, I think it was like they kind of backed themselves into a corner. They probably didn't want to do it, but they had already written the Glatorian as like gladiators, and then they realized too late, oh yeah, that means we have to do real combat. Whoops!
I think that's why they introduced the Thornax in the first place. They were trying to sidestep the whole combat thing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
blatantly
apparent. That's blatantly apparent in the sets, where every single set has that like hit counter dial.
Yeah, the action figure game.
Yeah, which they animated into the movie as part of their canon designs. So,
yeah.
I thought the addition of hand-to-hand combat was actually a stylistic choice. Like, I thought it was to emphasize that this isn't a world where we fight with big boomsticks and lasers. We just punch each other.
I mean, yeah, that too.
It feels a lot more primal than shoot this fancy thing.
Primal is probably the right word to use, but I don't know if it's the best word to use. They definitely give it more of a tribalistic approach in that regard.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so Strax, being pretty evil, all things considered, and Matanui's
quite evil.
Yeah, Matanui's like, okay, look, I've had enough. I'm gonna punch him or kick him or something. And he jumps down into the arena.
The mighty god shall smite down this peasant.
Yes.
Wait,
he's not fighting honorably, so I shall fight him 2-on-1.
Yes.
Clearly, this guy who is beating the crap out of a victorious Glatorian must now be taken down by two men armed with something.
Even though literally 2 seconds ago, Matanui's like, what? You punch each other? Good God, you savages.
Like, where's the Kanoka? Where's your Kanohi? Why don't you just shoot fire at him instead? Be honorable. Shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
All at the same time, admiring him, he's like, he fights with the heart of a true Toa. How would you know?
The same way he knows about Rahi, I guess.
I guess.
But yeah, no, Matanui does intervene, and his Vorok Stinger turns into a sword in the middle of the battle.
Or his sword just comes out at some point, if you believe the Young Reader book.
Yeah, really.
Well, yeah, it's got a very transient level of existability.
And also, Metis looks at it and he's like, interesting. Why would that be interesting? Anyway.
I mean, have you ever seen a scorpion tail turn into a sword?
Have you ever seen anybody try to fight with a scorpion tail?
It would be interesting. Like, would you not be interested?
Just the Wise.
Would you not be interested if someone transformed a scorpion's tail into, like, I mean, I guess on our world it'd be like a dagger, a tiny little letter opener, but would you not be interested?
Fell from the sky.
Yeah, Matanui's a pretty interesting guy.
Have you ever seen anybody telegraph so hard before than Menace?
Well,
I'm just saying.
They're all kind of
I
assholes.
almost voiced Menace back when Bionicle Next Generation was still a thing.
Oh, jeez, I forgot about that.
Oh, that would have been fun.
What a time!
Let's see if I can still do my best impression. I could always pick a winner.
That's
now
just your
throw
normal
down
voice.
your shield and your weapon.
Your normal voice is your asshole traitor voice.
But I can do an asshole traitor tone, is what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't supposed to be anything. It wasn't supposed to be an impression. It was just supposed to be like
it was just
tone.
you.
Now, if I want to do an impression, I could do Dracula really good.
Come on, let's hear Dracula. Come on.
No, I'm not talking about like I'm talking Castlevania Dracula.
Oh, fair enough. Castlevania Dracula's pretty good.
What was the line again? Not the line you're thinking. I was going to do that after, but
I like how you knew what line I was thinking.
Yeah, I know what line. I'm just trying to think of the exact wording of the line before it. What was I?
That's the line.
No.
Great job,
I'm on the
Liam.
spot. I'm on the spot. Stop putting me on the spot, damn it.
You put yourself on the spot.
I can do a really good Dracula impression. God damn it, don't mention my Dracula impression.
And I'm once again given flesh. I was called here by humans who wish to pay me tribute.
Excellent.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets. But enough talk. Have at you. There you go. There's the line. You happy now?
Nice.
Cool. And with
I
that,
can do Skeletor.
Yeah.
Nah.
He-Man. He-Man.
He-Man.
And so, Matanui goes back to...
Okay, now do Skeletor and Tree speak for the rest of the episode.
No.
Oh God, no!
No, your ears would explode. No, okay, so... Matanui beats up Strack and he's like, oh, you gotta concede and let everyone hear it. And he does. Cool.
And he still tried to betray him again.
Yeah. Even though both Matanui and Akar were right there,
This wasn't mentioned in the movie, but according to the book, he's just straight up getting exiled for that.
Oh yeah, totally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up because did it actually say that he was going to get exiled? Because I didn't notice it, and I was like,
yes.
Wait, I thought.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, in the book at least. I forget who, but I think it's Metis. Matanui asked him what will happen.
I believe it was Ronu
Actually, I do remember that now.
Oh yeah, he was talking to Akar, and he says, "What will happen to that ice warrior?" And Akar's
I do remember it now.
Yeah, he'll probably get exiled for that,
Yeah, they can't trust him because he's not.
Yeah,
honorable.
he says something along the lines of, "This time next week he'll be out in the desert." Or something.
Yeah.
They have to
Which
have
has
a
me
nice
wondering,
little meetup with Malum.
He does participate in the battle, I believe. Greg confirmed. Against the final battle against Skrull.
Yeah, it has me wondering, why did Strack even try to stab Akar in the back if he knew it would get him exiled?
I think it's because he was feeling, kind of embarrassed because they kept talking just during the fight. It's like, Akar, he's losing his will to fight. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Clearly, he's just trash. And it's like, wow, so if he's trash and you lose to him, what does that make you?
I think you've all misunderstood. The line that Matanui says kind of explained it to me, why he did that. So in the movie, it's kind of a bit more obvious than the book as well. Akar tells him concede, and he goes, fine. And then when Matanui beats him, he does the same thing again, and Matanui goes, for all to hear. Yeah, I think he just, like, everyone was cheering so loudly, and they're, like, in the middle of an arena. Yeah. You wouldn't hear what two, like, football players were saying to each other on the field.
I suppose,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I guess he figured he could just get away with it, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so Akar tries to give Matanui Strax shield, because I guess they collect shields for victory. That's a thing that they haven't mentioned before. And Matanui's like, nah, you keep it. And Akar's like, no. Throws it away.
Yeah, he's like, nah, I already beat him like 5 or 6 times already.
What do they do with the shield then? Just leave it in the lava or something?
Well, he just chucked it across the arena in the movie.
Yes.
Right. It's never really implied what they do with their shields, other than I think what had happened, if you remember back to back to the Glatorian Arena games. Yeah. That was kind of what you did, is you did collect the shields of the people you beat.
Huh. Yeah, Akar mentions he's just got like a room full of shields.
Yeah, which we see in the movie.
Which you do see later in an upcoming scene, and I love how almost all of them are like just random parts. Like, some of them are actual Glatorian shields, but in other places, like, you have half of Nuparu's shield.
Yep.
And I have to ask, how effective would that be as a fucking shield? Like,
more effective than your arm.
I guess it would be more effective than Gresh's blades as a shield, but still, it's like, it's just random things that were not thought out, and I have to ask, like, if they had the foresight to make a new sword for Matanui that doesn't exist as a part, by the way, but the Matanui set only has, like, the Matanui Glatorian set only has the Thornax launcher and his shield, and the Titan Matanui set has the sword, but it's a different design. So if they had the fortitude to do that, why didn't they just make up some shields?
Because you've said that it's like DQB rules, like they're in a post-apocalyptic society. They're not really making things, they're just scavenging what's sort of useful from the ruins.
I suppose.
In universe,
the metal all goes to weapons, so I mean, I suppose you would want to make shields with that as well, but
and you know that's
maybe people would rather have a sword than a shield, so if they can pick up some random trash.
As we've established, they're actually fighting this way because this is a more civilized way to distribute resources. What if they're just trading shields around and Akar is just stealing all the shields as he beats them?
That's why he's so rich.
Yeah.
That would be such an amazing twist if it turns out he's just
thought
hoarding.
Barracks was the thief of Marabagta, but it was me, Akar!
This is their equivalent of money laundering.
No, this is their equivalent of it's me, Dio.
Yeah.
Akar's a disillusioned billionaire who's realised that he's got too much shields to spend.
What if that's actually... Because he's obviously fighting with a shield. What if he just picks a shield out every day? He's like, fine, if I lose in this, I'm not going to really lose much. And then they just have to win their shields back. Which is why he literally throws away Strax and it's like, I don't care, I've got enough.
Akar is like the equivalent of that sort of fucking scam artist that, like, steals your shit and makes you buy it back.
Right? I am tearing down what is supposed to be one of the most noble characters in the entire movie. And just saying, yeah, no, he's fighting for all of this resource and it's like, alright, that's cool, I'm gonna steal this now.
Brilliant. Well, I suppose if we're going to take a quick detour from the movie, because the book version just completely snaps straight back to the Matoran universe right about now.
Meanwhile, in the ruins of Metru
yeah, we get TuragaNuva's diary, in which he says, Satan's God now, what do I do? How about we split up and distract God Satan?
Oh dear, oh no, oh dear, what is going on? Oh god, he's following me from a tunnel!
It was mentioned, by the way, I don't know if it was mentioned here or later, but it was mentioned that Gali sent a troop of Tamatoran up to the island of Matanui.
Oh, yeah. Did we ever find out what happened with them?
I mean...
They were never heard from again.
Yeah, they probably can... My note here just says, imagine falling from 40 million feet in the air.
Yeah.
Oh,
Out of one of the pores of Matanui's face.
ew.
I mean, they're not Gamatoran, so what does she care?
Oh,
Wow.
Oh,
Oh no.
It's
here's the
Tanu's
next
problem.
ultimate. Here's the next question at that point. So what does she have to tell the rest of the Tamatoran when they ask what happened to them? Is she gonna have to tell them they went to a new farm?
I guess.
No, she just literally does not value the lives of the red ones.
They just went for a swim.
well,
It might take them a while to
Forever.
get there, you know.
They went out for a pack of equivalent smokes.
Yeah. So eventually the Toa do figure out through some means that Makuta, you know, he does have ultimate power now, but he's not so good at controlling it. He needs to like really concentrate on things to make them happen. So they're using that to their advantage. You know, try and split up, distract him, get him to, you know, be unfocused.
Yeah, they
Maybe
said it
that'll buy us some
along.
time.
They said it along the lines of it was something like, "Would you be able to look at all of your organs at once?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Imagine
that's fine.
your kidney having a problem, and then all of a sudden your spleen decides to act up at the same time.
oof.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, you don't have a doctor available. You literally have to fix it yourself.
Or you could get a Tamatoran to die for you.
You could just have a fiery boy fall off your face.
Sorry, Avmatoran.
So, yeah. So, TuragaNuva's looking around for, he's looking for the Destral teleporter mechanism, because he thinks, well, maybe I can hop over to another dimension where, you know, Satan isn't God, and get some help from there. And he does find the teleporter room, which I'm surprised is still at all functional, now that it doesn't have its primary, thing being the Kanoe Olmec. And yeah, he asked for Nuparu to come and help him
He
fix it
never
up.
said that it was functional. He just said he
Well.
found it and he doesn't know how or if it works.
Fair enough, I guess. But speaking of that missing Olmec, here we get into Vizon's focus
Here we
journey.
go.
So,
It's I forget what SCP it is, but here we have the reluctant dimension hopper.
yep. So Vizon has got another mask fused to his face, and this time it's the one that lets him travel anywhere in any dimension.
Just not where he wants to be.
Yeah, he's not so good at controlling it.
SCP-507, that was it.
It said it turned him into a walking dimensional portal, which is, I mean, Vazon, walking dimensional portal. Not two things that need to be together, but two things that I am absolutely glad are together.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
definitely.
Greg has
It's
always stated that
amazing.
Vizon was one of his favorite characters to write, and this is part of this.
Yeah.
This is around the time where you can probably begin to see that.
Yeah, definitely. I will say that this whole story arc that's just started with Vizon now that he's got the mask, it's never actually important to the main story again, but it's fun.
And it's never completely resolved either. We're getting to the point now. We're getting to the point in the series where plot points are going to be left open, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we do only have 2 more episodes left after this one. So,
Actually, yeah, the last time we saw Vazon, he was raising an army of Takuas. The TuragaNuvas.
No, he wasn't. No, I think he somehow got the mask on his face, and he teleported into the room where Helrix and Brutaka were, that energized protodermis pool room, and
Yeah.
the energized protodermis washed over him, and that's how he got the mask fused to his face.
Right, so what happened to his army of dark
is a ve-
TuragaNuvas?
which I should mention, by the way, is a very disconcerting thought, because that means that it is for some reason Vizon's destiny to be this interdimensional portal guy.
Yes.
Look, all I'm
Otherwise,
going
he
to
would
say
have
is
been incinerated.
the question before the board is the energized protodermis entity controlling destiny? That's what we need to ask.
Actually,
Don't-
the energized protodermis entity seemed to have, like, a sense of humor to a degree in that it just liked fucking with things. So maybe it just saw Vazon and went, oh my god,
You know, that is
this
an
guy needs
actual
this
interesting
mask.
It's like, I'm bored. I got this.
I have got the
I
best thing
got
for you,
this.
my friend.
You have no idea what destiny awaits you.
Yeah.
And neither do I, because it is beyond my vision to see into where you are about to go, over and over and over and over again.
But you know what? I'd rather do this than literally sit here and listen to Makuta all day. Let's do this.
Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, Levi, about the Shadow TuragaNuvas, we will catch back up with them at some point.
Okay, cool. Because that just wandering about, just lying there, not good. Not good.
Yeah.
No, not good.
That will be resolved.
Eventually.
That actually brings up an interesting question that I thought of just now, though, by the way. Mm-hmm. If, for whatever, assuming Shadow TuragaNuvas obey the same logic as Shadow Matoran, if somebody just came up to them and just, like, threw a clack at them, would we just have, like, an army of Toa of Light to face against Makuta?
Yes.
You know, that's
I
a very
am down for this idea.
I love this idea. Let's make this happen.
Like, this is an alternate continuity I want to see where, like, this is the TuragaNuva's Deus Ex Machina. They just go to Destral, chuck a clack down onto the island, and then suddenly they have an army of Toa of Light to take to the core processor.
Oh god, this implies a terrible, terrible truth, actually. If there are infinite TuragaNuvas, then there are infinite Surfer Boy Jalas.
Oh no.
Except 50,000 times louder.
Okay, now take Orikume's Makuta or Takua, put it in a G major. Just make it really loud in G major.
I'm one of the many Takuas out there.
Oh dear.
Although it does mean there are
all
infinite
across
clicks.
the multiverse.
That is true. There are infinite clicks too, and that's
yes.
good.
But we'll get back to click in a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so getting back to someone else in the universe of Peril, we have Tahu's ragtag bunch of misfits. We've got Kopik, Jomak, Kraka, Guardian, and Lariska.
Kopik.
Or Kopake.
I mean, it at least makes sense that he's with somebody because he is the Chronicler now.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
That was the other thing. I wanted to bring that up real fast. How does everybody feel about him being the Chronicler?
I think it's fine.
So many Chroniclers. I feel like the title of Chronicler gets
I was
passed
about
around
to say the exact same thing. It's lost its
too
value.
fast.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how his personality is portrayed. He doesn't, like, he never talks unless he has to. He just listens. What better for a Chronicler?
That's true.
Whereas, like, in the case of Takua just kind of did it and became the Chronicler just because he was doing the job already, kinda. Hali kinda ended up the same way, but it was more or less like she was going on her own little adventure, and then Takua kinda lost the job, so she was the next best option in line. And then when she became a Toa, they just kinda had to decide, oh, well, there's nobody else currently doing any exploring in Metru Nui, so who's the best listener of our population? Matoro's dead, so...
They could have just had multiple Chroniclers, like a Chronicler skill.
Cronklers.
Chronicler! It's all coming together.
You know, that would actually be an interesting idea.
It's all coming together.
Sorry, my speech is awful.
Sorry for what? You brought us a great gift this day.
That's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need. Kronk is the new Chronicler.
Yes.
And we need that to be the name of the episode and the thumbnail, Kronkler.
Oh, I've already done something for the thumbnail, but...
oh, yeah. And he also speaks in, like... Oh, God. What's the equivalent of a bionicle squirrel? Or
pull the lever, Takua! Wrong lever!
Why do we even have that leg?
But, anyway.
We have fun here.
Yes.
But no, going off what you're saying, I think it would be interesting to have a Chronicler's, like, guild. That would be an interesting idea.
Yeah.
They all just get together on Fridays to talk about the terrible things they've seen.
You're not going to believe it, but I think Duma might actually be evil. What are you talking about?
Chronicle is anonymous.
By the way, can we I know we've probably gone over this before, but like it's completely unrelated. Can we appreciate for a minute just how like TuragaNuva, Duma Makuta was like the worst thing ever? Just TuragaNuva by himself, still an asshole.
Oh yeah,
Still a complete asshole.
That's why Makuta blended in so well. He didn't even have to try.
I kind of wish they went the route with Duma as like he's actually a Makuta supporter, like a Turaga gone down.
Makuta did nothing wrong.
I mean, I guess they kind of have an equivalent to
Make
that now.
Metru Nui great again.
I mean, the fact
These
that
Toa
he's...
Metru are fake Toa. They're not real.
I am sealing off the dome.
The fact that he's a
Oh god, he
Turaga
did build a wall! Oh god!
The fact that he's a Turaga in the first place means that he was once a Toa as well. So I'm
Yes.
like,
Yes.
how inept was he then? Like,
I think
how has he
we've probably
become
gone
this?
over this too, but like the designs for Toa Norik and Toa Iruni as sets were originally supposed to be Toa Duma and Toa Nidiki.
Oh.
That's right, yeah.
Which is kind of where things kind of, fell apart, because it's like, but why would they be Toa?
But it also, like, I'm still really annoyed that they weren't that, because the Kuroi Kowalsi is literally Nidiki's face.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite obvious what they were doing there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways,
And then,
moving on. Where even
yes.
were we in the movie?
We weren't in the
Oh, we're
movie.
not in the movie.
Kina.
We're in Reign of
Yeah.
Shadows still.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're talking to Tahu's bunch of guys, and a Guardian just immediately dies. Like, he gets swallowed up by the ground because some Exotoa are here, I guess. And, the Exotoa are here to arrest these guys and have them be retrained to serve Makuta better.
I want to know how that works. Like, does he just, like, forcibly plug them into a Vaki chamber or something?
Yeah, definitely a lot of electroshock therapy. Definitely maybe antidermis treatment, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Actually, that might be
Antidermis is... Yeah, Antidermis does have mind control properties, so...
That is true, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Having said that, he's probably too busy not making any right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and literally all the antidermis in the universe now is inside Brutaka.
That's true. But yeah, as it turns out, like, everyone on Tahu's team is just giving him shit for trying to fight back. They're all just like, we should probably just give up. And he's like, no, we have to fight. We have to be the best. We have to be the good guys. And then I'm just reading this like,
To be the very best, like no one ever was?
Well, yeah, that too. But also I'm reading it and it's like, it's like Gresh. He's the only good one. It rhymes. It's the same guy. Yeah.
Poetry rhymes.
Yeah, that's that exactly. You know how to words better than I can words.
Yes, we can all words.
Sometimes.
Words.
Yes.
I am still cat.
Yeah. Anyway, then we do actually get back to the movie, and so we're in Akar's house, and Madanoi's like, "Hey, you're a Toa," and Akar's like, "What's one of those?" Madanoi says, "A good person, I think."
I guess. Honestly, I wouldn't even know what they are. They just kind of keep me alive sometimes, and also fight in my head.
Yeah.
They fight real
It's,
good.
it's interesting how
And my legs.
like Matanui has this constant like, should I tell them that I was like a giant robot or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to, like... I mean, I guess this is skipping forward quite a bit, but at the end of the movie where they're like, is this connected to you somehow? Why can't he just say yes? Why does he have to say perhaps? He doesn't have to say that he's a big boy.
You try being an alien and explaining to the other natives.
He's already told them that he's an alien. He doesn't need to say
Yeah,
yes.
that's the problem I have.
Let me answer it this way. If somebody took a photo of your body from, say, behind, and you had never seen it before, would you be able to say this is you?
But he immediately
Yes,
recognizes
actually.
it just from, like,
Probably.
the legs. He sees the two buildings being brought together early in the
Okay,
movie,
Liam,
and he's
just
like,
because you
wow,
may have
this
seen
is,
your own
I know
ass.
what this is.
Hey!
Yeah. it is kind of weird how he keeps so much of it secret, even though he's told them explicitly that he is an alien and he was also king of, like, a place.
Yeah.
Why can't
just
you tell
don't
them
get-
he was king of the aliens?
I just don't
Why
get
people
why he has to
being
be
enslaved.
vague about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like,
he
what,
can
do they
literally
think you're
just
on the
say,
other side
yes,
of the
that is
planet?
connected to me. I know that is connected. That has meaning to me. Why does he need to say perhaps? And, it could have been a great
in a way,
ruler.
he's kind of lying to his friends.
He is, totally. Like, I don't know. Ugh,
And it's not even an excuse of saying lying to protect the truth. It's like, you're not
Look,
really
honesty
protecting
is
any
not one of the 3 virtues.
No, it's not.
No, but unity is, and I'm pretty sure to be unified, you should kind of have some honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Then again, look how the Toametra turned out.
If I told you were fat, we wouldn't be pretty unified.
Anyway.
No, but you'd be pretty honest.
Exactly.
And I would honestly punch you in the face. Hey-yo.
You'd have to have a pretty long arm to punch Levi in the face.
Look.
No, I'm quite short.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, God. What if you Levi's the same height as, like, the Matoran universe right now in this video?
I'm the same height as Amatoran.
Oh, no.
I'm a baby.
No. Curtis, you know what I mean by that, right?
Yeah. Because, yeah.
You gotta make it happen. Look, he just keeps throwing.
Oh, yeah.
Turn
Okay.
him into Gigantamax Meowth.
The long cat.
Oh.
Oh, dear. Anyway, back to the movie. So Mattis visits them in a car's house, and he's like, "Hey, Matanui, you're cool. Come fight for them. We'll give you money." And he's like, "No." "Okay, but if you do, no."
That makes it
Okay.
good, but that's an interesting thing. Interesting point, though. The entire economy of Barra Magna is based on trading. What money?
I think
So we've
it's
established this.
Oh, yeah.
Obsidian?
I
shields.
guess.
They get paid in food. And also a car shield.
Every they get paid in things they need.
Yeah. It's just all room and board.
I'll be back. This is where I'm going to mute real quick.
It's the beauty of free market capitalism, okay? You don't need money. You just give people stuff.
Yeah,
that makes
I
sense.
guess. And
More
yeah.
to
So
the
anyway,
point.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say. It's fine.
Okay. So yeah. This is the first point where Matanui does actually tell the car, "Yes, I am an alien from another world." And immediately Kina comes screaming into the room, just like, "I'm doing a big cum at that word."
Oh, Jesus!
Wow!
Okay, did you hear her voice when she walked into the room? She's okay. Just tell me she wasn't thinking that.
Okay.
Sexually
There
excited
is
by a
a-
cave.
There is a very good chance that, yeah, she may have had a lady boner for both the concept and also the appearance of Matanui.
Oh yeah.
And
totally.
these are biological beings that reproduce biologically. Kina can realistically have a lady boner.
Yes.
Yes. And in fact,
You don't know that in
canonically,
this
she was-
Just as
universe,
a
it's not
car
the
and
women who
everyone
have the
else can
penises.
have a regular boner.
I need to clarify something. Apparently, there
And that's
was
why they
talk-
have cod pieces in the movies.
I need to clarify something. Apparently, there was talk that Kina and Matanui would have had a relationship. I don't know if that's canon, non-canon, or if that was just a fan theory, or if that was just Greg's wishes.
I've heard
But
that
since
as well.
we
I can't
know-
remember where from.
Pineapple.
So anyway, yeah. Kina,
Pee-pee-doo-doo caca.
saunters into the room. Okay. Kina saunters into the room, and she's like, "Yes, you're from another world. I want to not be on this world. Teach me how to get to another place, maybe?" And he's like, "Oh, okay, I guess."
So step 1, you become a giant-ass robot. Step 2, you get betrayed by the people inside of you. Step 3, you get launched out of your own chest.
And step 4, you meet a person on another world.
Question
and then
mark,
you
question mark,
start-
question mark. Step 5, profit.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Kina's like, "Hey, you know what? I might know something about how to get to another world. I found like this cave under my village. Wanna see it?" And yeah, I guess everyone does want to see it because they immediately go there. And so they take Kina's car there because she also has a car, and her horse is sick, so they can't take the horse.
Wait, is that what they actually said for that?
In the book, yeah. They say that Kina's Sandstalker is sick, and so she has to take the car.
Wow.
Here's my next question. Are they just paying Glatorian in cars? Is that how this works at this point? Is that why Metis can afford one? Because he just hires so many?
Maybe. I don't know.
Like, there is no way an average Glatorian or an average Ogori are going to have a goddamn car in this economy. You know, the economy of barter and trading and also fighting.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they're taking this car through some canyon to Taejun, which is Kina's village, of course. The watery place is situated around an oasis. And, so they're on their way there, and suddenly they get attacked. Actually first, before they get attacked, they're talking about, maybe there's a traitor in our midst.
Hey, I'm back.
I wonder. And,
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. Maybe there's a traitor in our midst, and everyone just immediately buys that theory. It's like, yeah, okay.
Obviously there's a traitor. I mean, sure.
It was talked about, it was, like, alluded to in previous books. So.
Right. Now, specifically, the reason this was being brought up is because Skrull started attacking several areas of, like, key features. That was
Hadn't they already theorized that there was a traitor anyway? Like, when they were doing the whole defense of,
I literally just said that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it has been theorized before, but, I mean, Masanui just brings it up out of nowhere, and everyone's like, yeah, that's probably the case.
You know, other than the fact that we already figured that out about 3 months ago, and you weren't even here yet, but sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So they're trying to figure out who, they don't know. And that's when they get attacked by a Skopio.
Which in the movie still has like a
Telurus
perfectly still model of Telurus lying down on it for some reason.
He's lying down because that's how you put him on the set.
No, it's not.
In tank mode.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how he does it.
Also, I need to clarify.
And then in land mode, he like sits upright. It's weird.
And T-poses.
I need to clarify something. The Skopio, canonically...
I'm looking at images. He still sits on it in tank mode.
Well, I always had him lying down on mine, and I just followed the instructions, so...
There you go. Canonically, in the storyline, the Skopio is 100% mechanical, no personality, nothing like that. So why does it look like a giant-ass Rahi or creature in here? Literally looks like it has a brain.
What do you mean looks like it has a brain?
If you look back at the scene where it actually starts attacking, it literally moves its head around. It looks around. It looks like it actually is a creature.
Well,
I mean,
it
has limbs and a head.
Yeah, but the point
That
is,
would be
it's
how it would
100%.
move.
It's 100% mechanical. That's my point. It's
no. The Skopio XV1 is 100% mechanical. What about
the actual Skopio Rahi? It says right here, even on BSL1, which you run, by the way. The Great Beings tampered with the Skopio
I was always under the impression that
the Great Beings tampered with the Skopio species, altering their physiology to make them biomechanical.
It's biomechanical, so it's like...
So they're the real Bionicles.
Someone should write a chronicle about them.
Or a Kronkle.
Or a Kronkle, yes. The Kronkle of the Skopio.
But again, I should clarify that this is... If that's supposed to be Telurus in there,
It's
then...
Not. It's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
They just literally use the set.
Yeah. Because all the animation is based on the sets. It's meant to be a natural
It's
Skopio.
confusing.
I had always assumed it was the Skopio XV1, specifically because that's all I remember.
This is the actual Skopio animal.
Yep.
Fine. Then, understandably, now I understand. 10 years later, I finally understand.
Which,
By
again,
the way,
is the reason why we question why the fuck Telurus is there.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand your confusion because of Telurus, and also the fact that it has, like, a targeting system in its tail.
Yeah. I also need to
as
clarify.
it said, they are biomechanical, so...
Yeah.
So, The movie came out, very specifically, September 15th, 2009. Why do I remember this? Is because that was my birthday, and this was something I actually used a gift card to go get for myself. This was the very first thing I ever purchased for myself for my own birthday.
Wow.
Nice.
Because I had just
2009
turned 22 at that point. Because I'm 32 now. God, I'm old. God, I'm old. Okay.
You gotta be bold soon.
Not even gonna justify that with an answer. Anyway.
I just like reminding people of that. Nobody enjoys it. It's brilliant.
Let's see. I was. Oh gosh, was I 13?
I was 12.
I'm literally going to
now.
flip a tablet
13.
right now, because that's all I could flip. It's the closest thing to me.
2009 was actually the first complete wave of sets I ever completed.
So,
Same,
this is going to be a
honest.
fun fact for you. Would you like to know the very first wave of sets I ever completed was?
Let me guess, 2010?
2015.
Oh, wow.
The first ones I bought with my own money were the stars, but my first complete line was like the Turaga, I guess.
The very first
and
set
I
I ever
also
bought with
have-
my own money was the Borak Hall. I bought 3 of them for
Nice.
myself. Didn't get any of the Chronicle, as far as like the specialty ones. Bought the other 3, still didn't get any Chronicle. And unfortunately, due to the way that the wave works, you can't just go out and buy multiple things of these if you're a collector, because they didn't come in swarms in the call form.
A collector, you say?
You could still buy a bunch of.
Like barracks?
Ah, interesting little segue.
Ah,
Moving on.
Yeah, not that it's a very good
Yes.
segue, because we're nowhere near barracks' introduction.
No.
But still.
Not quite yet.
this canyon fight was also with the Bone Hunters. In the movie, they had the Wilhelm scream.
They did indeed. That very
I have
out-of-place
that in
Wilhelm
my
scream.
notes.
It's weird, because like throughout the rest of the movie, they just make very low-pitched grunts, and then suddenly there's a Wilhelm scream out of nowhere. But yeah, these Bone Hunters go down pretty easily, to be honest, all things considered. Like, considering how much trouble they were having with them previously.
And isn't it interesting that they all color coordinated and also got their armor to be the exact same specification across the entirety of their species? What a surprise.
And all
I
of them
thought-
looked
Almost
I
like,
as
didn't
if it
think
wasn't
they-
lazy at all whatsoever.
and all
They
of
didn't
them
just copy-paste the same model, what are you talking about?
they have like instead of Pharaoh, they have Atticus.
They did, yeah. I noticed that a lot
they
in the
did.
movie.
That was weird.
Yeah. Like,
Were they trying to imply maybe that Skrull, if they leave, they become bone hunters?
Don't know.
okay, but
I'm
here's the thing.
asking the question.
Atticus
It's
isn't
a
a Skrull.
model choice.
Yeah. But also, Atticus
Oh,
isn't
you're
a
right,
Skrull.
right, because he's the rock Tribagori.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
And-
I'm thinking of the other one. I'm thinking of the name Skrull. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've
Oh,
actually
like-
looked at their names.
Like
Oh,
Stronius.
Do you mean
thank you.
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah. Bernard. Yeah, we're going to talk about Bernard pretty soon,
Yeah.
actually. He's in, like, the next chapter. But yeah, first of all, we're going to talk very briefly about Crotesius in his Kendox or Sendox V1 versus the Caxium V3, which is like a motorbike with a side bike. They're just having a little training match, I guess, going at each other. And they're talking about, hey, what's up with the Skrull? Why haven't they attacked us yet since Atero and all that? And one of them says, oh, it's because Atero was undefended. No.
It was?
No. It was perhaps the most defended.
Question?
Nani the fuck?
I do question their logic here. Quite a lot.
question
Especially
everything.
since his very next line is, "We won't be seeing the Skrull for a long time."
I love
Under the
that.
comic, yeah, they're left. Good
Yeah.
lord.
About that.
I think even in this like in real life, if you were to say something like that, you would immediately bring upon yourself doom.
Pandora's
To be
box.
honest, the only other thing that would have honestly got them to attack even harder would have been like saying, "Don't worry, the prophecy states, as long as this giant golden thing doesn't fall from the sky and create a giant Toa-like figure, we'll be A-okay.
Yeah.
What's a Toa? I don't know. The prophecy very specifically said a Toa. But as long as that doesn't happen, the Skrull will never, ever, ever attack. What's that falling from the sky?
Yeah, quick note actually about Matanui's Toa-like figure. In the book, he's stated to be golden white, but in the movie, he's golden black, and in the set, golden black. So that's,
It's dark Matanui.
yeah, weird little inconsistency there.
So, I don't know if you remember the poster that was put out just at the end of 2008 going into 2009.
Yes.
It was at the back of the comic.
Yep.
And it looked like...
It was just Motoro and
Motoro.
It was Motoro. It was absolutely...
I remember
But
the theories.
We've never gotten any answer as to who that's supposed to be, other than, well, it's supposed to be Matanui, and it's like...
Yeah, it's like a placeholder.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I legitimately was excited for the concept that Motoro is actually alive, and he is now Matanui. Or perhaps within the mask with Matanui. That would have been an interesting twist.
If they needed a placeholder, they could have used Toa Ignica.
Yeah.
Why'd they use Motoro?
I don't know. I wish I had an answer for you. I wish.
I also want to comment on that same image on how fucking Click is just a standard scarab beetle. Or not even a scarab beetle, it's just a rhinoceros beetle.
Is that not what he's supposed to look like?
I mean, he's supposed to look like one, but not exactly like one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like, they
he's
literally just
different
photoshopped an actual rhinoceros beetle into the desert.
Yeah.
I also really love that he's just staring off into the distance as this giant thing, and it's like, why does
It's a
that
giant
look...
Vaki leg.
Yeah. Why does it look like a giant Vaki leg?
Yeah, get used
I
to
guess
that,
we'll-
by the way, because there are other instances of that happening even after that.
But I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, but anyway, back to the book.
I thought those were... We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
We'll get to it later.
So, okay, quickly back to Matanui and his friends. They like use the Thornax launcher on the back of the Skopio to shoot at the Bone Hunters, and also to make an avalanche. In the movie, he just like stabs the mountain with his sword, and that makes the avalanche. But in the movie, he shoots it. So whatever. And then he
works.
surfs down the side of the mountain and lands perfectly on the car as they're driving out there.
Not so unsteady on his feet anymore, is he?
Yeah, I guess. He's only had these feet for like a day.
Not even that!
Yeah.
I mean, he's used to
I think it's only
operating much
about...
bigger feet, so I guess it would be easier if you weren't crushing entire islands with your every step.
Actually, that does bring up a good question. What is the concept of a day on this planet? We never established that. What's the time
I mean, do they
frame?
have a sun?
We do.
I mean, they have a sun, obviously.
So the concept of a day must surely be...
Well, yeah.
But I meant,
that's yeah.
how are they defining, like, a day-night cycle? Is it, like, say, a 24-hour period like ours is, where
Yeah, like
12 hours is
It's actually
daytime?
18, so that'll be... A day on the planet would be 36?
I thought that was for
hours?
Aqua Magnus specifically.
No, it's for the whole Bar Magna.
Oh, they established that
Years.
before the shattering? That was what it was?
I believe so.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So it might be about the same, or it might be a little longer or a little shorter.
I won a T-shirt because I answered this trivia from a TTV. So so I should know.
I imagine the T-shirt just says, "I know how long a day on Spheros Magna is."
No, it's just the LJ blue and red pin. Morpheus.
Oh, okay.
Maybe big brain.
By the way, speaking of that, I literally finally came up with the title that we could have used during Bionicle Day. I finally came up with the title of that trivia segment.
Just in
Chronicles
time.
Championship.
Yeah, Chroniclers. That would have been
Or the Tournament of Chroniclers. That would have been the other one. That might have also
I
been
like
just
it.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the rain's here finally. I can close the window.
Neat. So, yeah, cool. So we're done with that whole bit where they were in the canyon, because they then go on to Tejun, which is apparently burning. We'll get back to that in a minute. So,
But why did it burn?
Yeah. So, now we go to everyone's favourite Brenar. He's a
yes.
guy. Yeah, he's an elite Skrull, one that's been given a name. as very few have. The only other ones we've got are Stronius and Tuma, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So Bernard, he's just on a little mission. He's taking some
And he's
Voroks
got a
up north.
fancy little deco on his helmet.
He does, yeah, which we'll see in the comic. But other than that, he looks exactly the same as a normal Skrull.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just he's on a little mission. Tuma sent him up north to go check on those Batera, those silent, deadly killers from up north that have been driving them away. And so he's just going up with some Voroks. Basically, if the Voroks die, you know you're close. So turn back then. And one of those Voroks does die. And he's like, oh dear, what happened? And then one of the Skrull that he took with him also dies. But they left Bernard alive as a warning. So obviously this was just north of the Black Spike Mountains, I believe. So yeah, these Batera, they're getting further south. They're gonna be pushing the Skrull out of their current home now, pretty soon, if something doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all think about the Batera as antagonists?
They just
I
seem
like
to
the
be
concept.
random dickheads.
They do seem to be.
Also,
fully
why are
sentient? Like, are they alive, or...
why are they predators? Is my question.
I mean, I know they're...
Have we gone through their backstory yet? Can I talk
No.
about it?
No,
We
we
have to-
We haven't talked about their backstory now.
Okay.
All we
So-
know is that they are robots, and they like to kill people. A lot.
Fair enough.
They have cloaking technology. They have fucking, like, advanced scanners, it shows. And, like,
right.
they appear to disappear and appear, and then one single Skrull gets left alive from the entire bunch. It literally is a rip-off of the Predator. Why? Why is it?
They kind of look like them a bit, too.
Yeah. I've never actually seen the Predator movies, so I didn't.
It
pick up on
genuinely is. Branagh is literally Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's it.
that. Okay. Yeah,
Get to the mountain.
yeah, a bit.
Wow, that
so
was a terrible Arnold impression.
I wasn't attempting to. I was trying to do a Bernard impersonation at that
Get to
point.
the chopper! No!
That wasn't much better.
No!
No.
No.
No!
So we get into the comic. that
Get your
explains-
Optimus.
the comic that shows
Put that cookie
The,
down!
the
No!
first time that the Skrull encountered the Batera. It was some indeterminate amount of years ago. It was wintry time.
Damn
up
it,
in the north,
Tuma! Put the cookie down!
and some Skrull were just going out onto the plains, just looking
And
for
you
stuff.
were worried we would lose track with Josie around?
Yeah, we are an hour and a half in.
Jeez. And so it's so the Skrull are looking around for things to pilfer, Agori to raid, bone hunters to steal from, just anything they can get their hands on, really. And some Batera come and kill them. Oh dear. And they, some of them do manage to get back. I believe Bernard actually is the only one to survive, and he comes back and tells Tuma, "Hey, there's some really, really deadly things out there." And Tuma's like, "Okay, let's go out and kill them." So they send out a scouting mission, in which most of the Skrull die. Again, they don't have a very good success rate against these robots, as it turns out.
No, and they don't learn very quickly either.
No. It literally takes the Batera, completely ransacking and setting fire to their home base for them to finally decide, yeah, we should probably leave. And
Especially
that does
since they've only accidentally killed one so far.
happen. Yeah. Stronius kills one of them, and even that was very, very taxing, you could tell. And that's how they find out that they're robots. But other than that, they're just like, right, no, these things are taking our base either way, so let's set fire to the place and hope we take a few of them down with us. except we're gonna run away. Tee-hee. And so that's what they do. They burn the Squirrel village, the entire thing, and say, right, we're going south now. I hope those other guys are ready for us. And they go invading. As they do. They're just a bunch of Vikings, really.
You know, that's a good explanation for what they are. They're an invading force from the north, heading down and attacking, but they have a slightly different, like, what's the word I want to use here?
Motive?
They have a motive, yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than just pilfer and plunder, they're just, it almost feel like they're running scared, you know?
Well, no, he's specifically trying to get space to, like... If you have a huge amount of open space, it doesn't matter if your opponent are shapeshifters, because, like, what the fuck are they going to shapeshift into in the desert? You've at least got half a chance there, as opposed to in a forest.
They turned into clouds.
Oh no, they turned into sand.
Or rocks.
They could shapeshift into, like, snakes and just go under the sand, and now you're screwed.
Yeah.
And then they smack you in the face like they do on that planet in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah. By the way, do we ever actually get, like, a resolution for the Skrulls' conflict with the Betera?
Without going into spoilers, no.
Oh, okay. I mean, I know we see the Betera a bit more later, but yeah.
Tuma has a green sandstalker.
He does.
Or, no,
Why?
Rocksteed.
Rocksteed, rather, yeah. Why? Why is
because
he
he likes
Reasons.
green. He likes green.
He's the king. He got to choose his own special sons.
Two things
Rocksteed.
in my notes, by the way. Firstly, from the previous scene in the movie, in the canyon, Madanui comments that his new body tires. Does that imply that the GSR does not?
I suppose so.
I think
It's a robot. Why would it tire?
I figured it was because he doesn't necessarily have a Toa body. He has like a Glatorian-esque body.
And secondly, I love how in this whole comic, the moon is just straight up Earth's moon.
Oh.
It's just a Photoshop of Earth's moon.
Yep. Also, Liam, to answer your first question, I think what happens is the GSR runs, it gets 10,000 miles to the soul.
Don't you mean 40 million feet to the soul?
Liam got the
dear.
joke. Liam knew what the joke was.
Oh dear. But back to the movie, I suppose. Our little power trio, they do arrive in Tejun, which has been attacked by the Bone Hunters and the Skrull. And
Oh no!
yeah,
They're working together now?
well, that's what Gresh says, and we might as well believe him. But he's also hurt. He's like got a broken arm, and his weapons are all busted, and he can't even stay on his own 2 feet. Poor lad.
Oh no, he's gonna take months to recover.
Well, normally he would, but maybe there's a way to fix him.
Mm.
It's those new joints. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I also
so-
want to mention that for some reason Gresh here says to I think it's here that he mentions to Kina or Eckhart that they destroyed our village. What?
I don't know.
You know, there is a theory that the Glatorian are just from different villages, that they just take on the armor for wherever they
Yeah,
get hired
that-
from.
I don't
That's
think
it
that's
is
a theory.
possible
I think
that-
that's canon.
That is possible. Hang on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at some point Metas at least says to one of them, hey, you could work with this other village, and
Yeah.
But it would have had to have been between now and the
It's-
last time we saw
it's-
Gresh, because the last time we saw Gresh, he was very blatantly still working for Tassara.
yeah.
Hmm.
And actually, later in this movie, he does say, when he goes back to Tassara, like, oh,
It's good to be home.
Yeah. So he still considers that as
And
his
in fact, prior to and during the Core War, apparently he worked under, the Element Lord of Jungle, Joy. So he's always been Jungle Boy.
Yeah, they never seem to change their allegiances much, even though we're told they
Wait,
can.
hold on. It was said when in the previous book, when he was on that little quest with Gaelu, he was asking Gaelu about the war as if he wasn't there. Are you telling me Gresh was working with the Element Lord of Jungle the whole time, and I guess he just forgot?
It says here he was too young to participate in the war itself.
Okay, so he was a war bandit.
But to answer your question, yes, he was alive.
Okay.
Gosh, she's 8. The Glatorian aging is...
It's weird.
I mean, okay, it's like asking somebody, hey, were you alive during, say, World War II? And they say, well, yes. Oh, cool, so what was it like fighting in the war? And it's like, I was literally 2 years old. The hell do I know about the war?
Actually, when you think about it, if these guys are as old as they are to have participated in the war, and the war was before the Shattering, why? They're all older than all of the Toa. Like, every single creature in...
Yes.
Why do they not know what happened during the Shattering? Why do they not know of...
Either they forgot or they never understood what it was. Because we don't necessarily know up to this point what the Shattering is. What occurred.
No, but surely you would notice, like, a great big 40 million foot tall robot waking up on your planet.
I mean... Again, if it happened on the other side of the planet, you'll never notice.
That's true. Baramagna's a big place.
But there's colonies all over the planet.
Here's the thing. I'm going to go ahead and say this. The Great Spirit robot launched before the Shattering. So we're talking this was on Spherus Magna.
Yeah, exactly. And they remember the Shattering.
But the point is... The point to be made here very specifically is it could have happened on the other side of the planet. They may never have seen it. They were probably too busy fighting.
But there's colonies all over the planet.
Well, and also the events of this story take place in a tiny little section. If we're going to go back to the size, because the map of Bar Magna they gave us, like that Lego gave us, is like just a small
it's just one
area.
Patch of land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very super tiny.
So, like, there's still a lot of other planet to be explored.
Yes. There's
and I'm
plenty
sure
of things to see.
It in great detail.
Eventually.
In super great detail.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to go see those dinosaurs.
Yeah. So,
By the way, that's not a spoiler. Literally. Yeah. I wish it was.
So anyway, going back to the raid on Tejun that happened, the book actually has a nice little flashback to that exact event. We don't really learn anything new, it's just a recap of what happened, but, you know, it's nice to actually see it play out, compared to the movie where we're just told it happened. So, yeah, that's pretty neat. Then we actually get to, we get some of the Bone Hunters and Skrull approaching, and Akara and Kina are like, oh my god, it's Tuma. He's the big boy, and he is working with Bone Hunters. Oh dear, it's real. So Kina's like, right,
it's
quick,
true.
Into the cave.
It's damn true.
Yeah. Quick, everybody, into the cave. It's over this way. And so they go. They go into the cave, and inside the cave is a secret lab with lots of miniature ecosystem domes in it. I wonder what that could be related to. In some way.
It can't be the Element Lords.
And and so when they go in there, you know, they lay Gresh down on the table because they're like, right, well, I guess we better help him somehow. Anybody here a doctor? And
also, speaking of the table, that table in the movie, and I don't know if the movie is, like, it's just fucked up this scene just without realising it, but that table is right in the middle of those, like, 6 rooms with channels leading from each room directly to the table.
Yes.
Yes,
so,
it's a
like,
really weird room.
I'm just... Is there necromancy going on here?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But thankfully they don't need to dabble in any of that, because Berix is here, and he's a lil shit. Maybe.
Oh, hello.
Maybe.
How's everybody doing?
He is a goblin.
I never really noticed before, but rewatching the movie just today, I noticed how much Beric sounds like LJ. They have very similar voices.
I always thought like John from Ruby sounded a lot like Beric's.
Yeah, you're not wrong. That is a little bit slower paced, but yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Barracks is here. Kina really doesn't like him. Everyone else is just sort of ambivalent. I don't think many people ever really talk to him other than Kina. So we don't really get much of a sense of what the others think of him.
By the way, in this chamber, I have to emphasize something. Whose bright idea was it to create a chamber just filled with a frickin' volcano? I'm just saying.
Or a giant freezer.
I could accept the giant freezer. I could accept the jungle, but why would you need the volcano in there?
They needed to store the fire.
Yeah.
It's the oven.
Yeah.
It's if you spend too long in the... it's like a hot tub, It's like you spend too long in the ice room, you just go to the fire room.
And then you immediately die because the rapid change in
fire
temperature.
Right. Yeah. And then they bury you in the jungle room, apparently.
It's the circle of life. That's what the rooms are for.
This got dark very fast. Speaking of dark, let's go into the dark cave. Down below.
Yes.
Yes.
So Beric says he can fix up Gresh. Kina's not too trusting of him, but they let him do his thing anyway. And while he's doing that, Masanui looks at a secret door within the secret cave, and inscribed on it is a symbol that's all too familiar. If you've seen the movie, you saw it at the very beginning. It's the planets. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was about to say. This is...
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing he could have said at that point is... the way he could interpret it is either he says, I've seen this somewhere before in a previous life, but he could also have said, I've seen this before as I was flying through the space and seeing this coming over.
Well, no, he also said, I'm pretty sure at least, that it's carved onto his body.
Well, it's like, it's constantly like, he recognizes it because like, oh gosh, it was, trying to find where it was. Oh gosh.
But yeah, in universe, it's meant to. Well, it serves two purposes. First of all, it does literally represent the planets and the nebula around them, but also it's meant to represent the three virtues of unity, duty, and destiny.
Right.
Yeah, he just didn't know what it stood for.
Speaking of the three virtues, the great spirits seem to be quite intent on their destiny and unity. Specifically, they mentioned that they've fucked up their destiny.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
the great
we'll get
beings,
to that.
yeah.
There's a particular chapter where they talk about that. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so Masanui touches this big old door in the secret cave, and it opens up, and there's an even secreter cave inside.
My hand was a key all along.
Yeah. I guess it just sort of recognized him as a good guy, and it's like, oh, okay, you can come in.
DNA analysis confirmed. You are glass.
Yeah. And so he goes inside, and what's this in here? But plans. Plans for a giant robot. How interesting. And there's also a bunch of stuff scrawled all over the walls, which it's all written in Matoran language script, which the Klatorian don't understand. And Matanui
I can't read this. Can you read this, Matanui? Maybe.
I'll tell you who else can read it. Bionicle fans. And we have translated all of the stuff that was written on there. And so, what we've got is Bionicle, the Legend Reborn, Lego, Matanui, Bara Magna, Secret Lab, Universal, TB Reshold, which is supposed to be threshold, but they spelled it wrong. CG, 2009, Matanui Robot, Heart Chamber, Side View, Front View, and Bara Magna Test Site.
Did you capture a Universal in there as well?
Yeah.
Actually, how do you know it's supposed to be Threshold? I wouldn't put it past them to create a character called Tabreshold.
I wouldn't put it past them either, but Threshold Animation is the studio that worked on the movie, so...
Right. Same with CGCG. They kind of did much of the animation for all four movies.
Yeah. CGCG, as it turns out, we were just researching this earlier today. They're one of those studios that's worked on, like, everything, but you never see them, because they're always, like, right at the bottom of the credits.
Computer-generated confusing glyphs.
Yes.
Sure. The point that they got a shout-out, though, is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is pretty cool.
Did we mention that Kina does not particularly like the Great Beings?
Yeah, that's a fair point, actually. It's been implied before in previous parts of the book that nobody really likes the Great Beings on Barra Magna because they see them as deserters. You know, they see them as, oh, they ruined us and then they just left. Whereas
and
Matanui,
also,
of
Kina
course,
wants to go with Matanui to like another world, or
yeah. But of course, Matanui, you know, he was created by the Great Beings. All he knows is he thinks they're good, and he's like,
they're
oh,
benevolent. They're the benevolent ones. They
what's
created
wrong with
life, and she's just like, no, they ruined everything. Shit's real.
I wish they
Look
went
outside.
more into that, like a more kind of moral gray.
I actually
yeah,
kinda
I like. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I kind of like that because it shows it paints a different picture that shows nobody is perfect. For up to this point, everybody predicts or thinks that the great beings were absolute perfect beings that are like, we know everything. We are the omnipotent ones, and it's like, okay, fine. So do you know how to fix your planet?
Well, I mean,
Shrug.
the great beings of the other universes we've already seen think that these great beings are fucking morons. So.
That is
Oh
true.
yeah, that is very true. They're like, wow, they didn't get the shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then again, they also screwed up their Toa and Matoran designs, as we learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, Chapter 5 of Matanui's diary mentions he was built, like, with the capacity to feel emotion from the beginning.
Huh.
Mm.
I missed that. But
He just never
get
had
there.
any reason to.
I guess.
Like,
Yeah.
why would you feel emotion when literally all you're doing is exploring a
Have
ball?
we already talked about the awakening?
No, I don't
Okay.
think we have. That's coming soon.
Well,
Okay.
you say it's coming soon. I don't think it's ever directly referenced in the text, but it is a spoiler for now, so
Okay.
So we'll hold off on that
keep
for later.
quiet about that.
yeah. But anyway, back to the text.
Yes.
We skip on back to Axon. Catch up on him. Because last we saw him, he was inside of Makuta's, the Matanui robot's brain chamber, and Makuta had taken over the universe and teleported him out somewhere. And now we
I'll
find
be
out
back
where
in just
he
a
is.
moment.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
And now we find out where he is. He is apparently in an infinite wasteland, hearing the screams of Brutaka forever.
Ooh, fun.
Turns out this is, turns out this is
Except
all an
not
illusion,
forever, because he has a cool mask.
Yeah, it's an illusion, and thankfully, he speculates that the Mask of Truth is what lets him break out of it, but he doesn't know for sure. It probably is, given its entire power set is seeing through illusions, so... so he does end up getting out of that. It doesn't really elaborate on what he does next, but, I guess we'll catch up on him later. Tahu's bunch. No sooner did those Exotoa arrive, but they all fell into the ground as well, thanks to TuragaNuva, digging around and pulling them down. That's what he does.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I like how earlier in the book when they were when we were at Tahu talking about how like he wants to save everyone and we're gonna do the thing, and they ask, "Do you have a plan?" And he literally just says, "I'm gonna do a Pahatu."
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Smash everything and hope you're somewhere else when it all blows up. So between Tahu and Onua, they figure out, so the whole thing is, Makuta's a big boy, but he still can't make Rakshi whenever he likes. He's still got to use energized protodermis for that. And the only place to get energized protodermis these days is on Daxia. So let's go to Daxia and see what's up there. So that's what they're going to do now. Meanwhile, Liwa is on a mission to go see Artaka, because, Artaka, he's a pretty powerful person. He can maybe help. But no sooner does Liwa get pretty close to Artaka's island, but Artaka mind talks what's the word? Telepathically communicates. That's it. With him, and he's like, "Turn back! I'm dead, probably. Go see Trencrom instead." And he yeets him off to Trencrom's island.
Let's visit Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And Trencrom says, "You have reached the final journey.
You have reached the final boss." Yeah.
You don't understand. You are fucked, matey."
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what Artaka thought Trencrom was going to accomplish here, but yeah, Lewa's on the island with him now. I'm sure that will end well.
Let's see how many tentacles you can take before you break.
Oh, Jesus, there it is.
Oh no.
Oh.
I mean, let's just say this. You know, you remember all those times that Lewa got mind jacked? Well,
Yep.
we might be seeing a bit more of that.
Alright, I'm sort of back for a minute, but...
Yeah, okay.
Hey, we're talking about Lewa getting
We're talking
tentacle
about
hentai.
tentacles.
Oh, that part! Nice.
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 Confirmed Sword is into tentacle hentai.
Oh, not. I just happen to remember that scene in the book.
Yeah, so thankfully we only just saw the setup for that scene. We'll find out what the payoff is next time. And then, let's see. Oh yeah, all the way back to Barra Magna again. Back to the movie sort of stuff. Actually, no, not the movie. More book stuff that's not in the movie, in fact. Some number of weeks ago, the traitor, the Agori traitor, I wonder who it could be. It's Metis. Yeah, you know.
The gory traitor, I wonder who could be. Is it the one that's actually guilty, or is it any other one we have not really met before? Gee,
Yeah.
who could the guilty party be?
It's totally Zesk.
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely it's a Zesk. No.
No.
I think it's Tarduk. No, but anyway. So Metis goes up to Chuma, in the Skrull place, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I know how to kill Batera, and you are really desperate for that information. How about we strike up a deal?" And Juba's like, "I could kill you right now, but I really want to know how to kill those robots." And so they do end up striking up a deal. And there's this great part in the scene where, Chuma's just like, spouting angry words at him. And Metis just slowly walks over to Tuma's throne and just sits on it. He's like,
I
"Yes,
know,
I own
Tuma's
the
like-
place."
Oh, yeah.
That was bad. That was actually pretty badass.
Yeah.
Right. At this point, what I would have said, as far as, like, the writing itself goes, I would have been like, Tuma thinking to himself, I'm gonna kill that little shit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they do say something to that effect in the text.
Yeah.
like-
Right. No. I would have legitimately broken the rule and just have him say, I'm gonna kill that little shit.
Yeah.
Break the rule of Lego and not swearing. And just have him say it.
It's
That's
just the
their
one time.
for the entire lore. They get
It's
one.
like how in Avengers they're allowed 2 swear words if they want to keep their PG rating.
Right. And then they burn one of them immediately with Age of Ultron in the very first minute.
Oh,
Just
dear.
watch that gosh darn language.
But anyway, yeah. So basically, Metis, he will give the Skrull information on the Batera, but in exchange for letting him in on their whole conquest of everyone, and letting him lead them into battle. So that's how he rises to power. But there you go. And let's see. So Akar and Kina and Gresh and Matanui and Berix, the whole lot of them, they're coming out of the cave. They're just thinking about what to do next. They clear up some straggling bone hunters who are still around. The usual stuff. These bone
Some
hunters,
real
by
good
the way-
slapstick in there.
Yeah, but quite slapstick, not very threatening at all. Just knock their heads together. That'll do it.
Donk.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm done walking around.
Yeah. And,
My apologies.
Okay,
Ow.
no worries. And so the Clitorian are like, oh man, our weapons sure do suck. Hey, Matanui, is there something you could do? He's like, I guess. Maybe I can do a glowy thing.
I'm just imagining modern... Like, you just basically all you need to do for this is, like, if you're going to do an animation for this, just carbon copy the exact same thing you did for Kitongu, but as Matanui.
Yeah.
One thing I was waiting for in this part as well was... So he specifically mentions, okay, I mean, obviously, the Mask of Life can only transform things that are living or once were alive.
Yes.
I was waiting for them to ask him to make the spiciest nut. I don't know why he didn't transform a single Thornax.
Oh my god, yes. He should have done that. What would that even turn into?
Exactly, they could have...
A bigger nut.
Imagine.
Yeah, it just turns into a giant nut.
You know, that would have been an interesting idea.
God damn it.
Oh.
God damn it.
What if Matanui fell down and hit his mask on the ground? What would change at that point?
Well, then it would just be like the end scene of Steven Universe, the movie.
I haven't seen that.
I guess so, yeah. But yeah, thankfully, Glatorian weapons are in fact made of bones and claws and things like that. So they can be enlivened.
Enlivened.
Yeah. But, and so
I think we found the title.
He touches them all against his mask and turns them into big boy weapons. And Aka's like, wow, hey, you really did the glowy thing. Holy shit, did I just shoot fire out of my sword?
My sword looks like the set now.
Big
The
dick
sword is
elemental
but
powers.
the focus.
Yeah.
Fun fact, this is never explicitly stated anywhere, so I'll just go over it now, but Glatorian with elemental powers and Toa are still not the same thing. They're still weaker. And in fact, I think this has actually gone over in the script for the movie sequel that didn't come out to this. It's that if a Glatorian tried to do a Nova Blast, they would literally incinerate their own bodies.
Wow.
Yep.
Ooh. So
Because they're
it's
entirely
literally
organic.
a final
Their bodies,
explosion.
their bodies cannot withstand the energies that a Nova Blast produces.
Whew.
So what you're saying is we need to get a Christopher Sabat to be a Glatorian, and we need to get the final explosion
Yes.
with a giant M scribbled onto their helmet as they're exploding.
Yeah. Oh dear. But yeah, as it turns out, once Matanui does this thing to their weapons, they can shoot elemental blasts now. It's never made entirely clear whether it's the weapons themselves that have been elementalified, or if they have some innate power.
It says that
It is in the hearts of your tribe.
That brings up another thing, actually. In an upcoming chapter, we're going to see a flashback to the Core War.
Yeah.
And apparently they had those powers during the Core War.
Yeah, because Terex, swung his weird axe blade and water came out.
No, actually, that was Vastus that did that, which implies that it's a
it was.
part of the weapon.
Oh.
Yeah, what was up with that? I mean, I guess we'll get to that, but yeah, that was really weird.
So I personally always interpreted it that it would be the weapon that causes it, but it might be user-based, if that makes sense.
What it said about the ones that
Well, here's my point: is Gresh is not a member of an air village; he's a member of the jungle village.
Yeah.
He still has
That
air
actually
powers.
But the jungle village is I mean, I assumed it was analogous to
That actually brings up another interesting
Lake
point.
Oro.
If it is indeed the case that Glatorian just changed their armor depending on who they're allied to, does it really matter who has what element? Who is to say that fucking, say, Gaelu doesn't have the element of fire? Just because he changed allegiance at some point and he was born in Volcanus.
There's literally nothing to say that. I mean, it says in the book that when Matanui changes the weapon, it says that the weapon brings out... he always had the power in him, the weapon just brings it out of him. Like, it's tied to his tribe.
I always argued that was implying that he was talking about his courage and his will.
Well, no, because Matanui's power that he uses is, when he does the blast, is life. So, it's about the personal energy of... It's about the personal energy of the wielder, rather than the weapon itself.
But then again, in that flashback, like Liam said, Vastus uses Tarek's blade and shoots water out of it. And Vastus is definitely a jungle boy.
Unless the weapon itself just has, like, a giant freaking water gun built into it.
Oh, that would be interesting to see, just putting a
that might have just been a mistake, to be fair.
It was fan-written, so, yeah.
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 If it was fan-written, I don't see that as a continuity error. It's just a mistake. Yeah. Like, it's...
It all comes down to how they interpreted that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have just as easily been a blast of air, and it wouldn't have changed anything.
True.
But yeah, actually, that's a fair point. Is the jungle tribe is definitely not the air tribe. So why they get air powers, I don't know.
I assumed it was
I think it's
analogous to Lake Oro. So like the Lane Matorans are the Matorans of air.
On that note, I actually
they live in the jungle.
Another point that I actually told Curtis a while ago, but during this scene where Matanui is transforming the weapons, he mutters to himself, "Together as one mind," which to me implies that Matanui does not control the Mask of Life. Rather, he has to tap into the spirit of Ignika and and channels him to use its powers.
Yeah, he doesn't have specific control over the Mask of Life. He just allows the Mask of Life to work through him, like...
He's basically channeling the spirit of Ignika.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Which means that the two of them are, like... Literally, he is sort of like double personality with the Mask of Life. Which is quite an interesting concept. If you think about, during all these events, you just have Ignika talking to you in the back of your head.
That's not necessarily the case, because when Matoro wore the Ignika, it wasn't like Ignika and Matoro were working together. It was Ignika Matoro controlling the Ignika's power, like...
Yeah, so...
I've always interpreted that of putting the mask on and then it actually working, that had less to do with his own control and more to do with Matoro just like, fuck me up, fam.
Whereas rather than wearing Ignika, Matanui is inside Ignika. His personality has been transplanted into Ignika. So he's sort of in control now, personality-wise, but not power-wise.
The interesting thought is, what was explained with Toa Ignika, the form, was the mask itself had to keep actively focusing to create that body and keep it formed.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was formed and done. It had to maintain that form.
And that form was something it chose. It just decided, this is what I should look like.
Yeah.
Right. So the point to get across here is, I think it's just doing the same thing for Matanui, and Matanui is the one actually controlling it, and the Ignika's just like, I'll just stay back here and keep thinking about this body. That's all I'll do.
Look, buddy, you can. I'll let you live for now.
I'll just chill in the turtle.
Yeah. Oh, it is a bit like that, isn't it? Yeah, if anyone's not sure what we're referencing, it's JoJo Part 5. There's a turtle. That's all you need to know.
There you go. Like, put up a reference right here.
Yeah, just give Coco Jumbo on screen.
So, yeah. So anyway, Matanui's... For some reason, Matanui takes a bit of a weird turn here in his personality, where he's like, I'm gonna go fight my own battles. Even though, up to this point, he's been very much wanting to help the Kulturian. And Akar's like, no,
kind of been like
dude,
off and on about that decision.
He is a bit, but at this point, Akar's like, no, you're not ready. I need to teach you how to fight properly. And so he's like, okay, I guess I'll stay.
Good
You know,
God,
here's
we
an
only at
interesting
this
thought.
point.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting point. I have to assume it had to be the Glotorian's own energy, because why didn't he just pick up Barracks' weapon and do the same thing? So it has to be from the Glotorian themselves.
I guess.
Just
Anyway.
saying out loud.
Yeah.
It just.
That's fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, speaking of which, Akar says, he'll train Matanui and teach him how to fight proper. And that's where we get into another one of these baby books for babies. I didn't realize there were so many of these in 2009, but this is like the third, fourth one, something like that?
This is the fourth one, I believe. I just looked it up.
Huh.
Possibly the fifth?
And,
Anyway.
Yeah. So anyway, this is one where Akar teaches Matanui how to predict opponents' moves by birdwatching. Yay!
Seems legit.
Yeah. It's very basic strategy that he's teaching him. It's literally just like, look for signs of your opponent moving to the left or right, and that's how you win. But it works, so... Yeah.
So this is the part where this is basically the montage, the montage Nui.
Yeah, this is the training montage. And... Yeah.
Gonna need a montage.
Yeah. And they wrangle a horse, and Akar pretends to be in danger, and Matanui's like, "Oh, Akar, I did it! I beat the horse!" And Akar's like, "Yeah, that's really not impressive. I was just
The
pretending
moment-
to be in danger to motivate you."
The day that you can make the horse never wish it was born, and to go back in time to stop its own inception, that is when you are ready.
Yes.
I love how Matanui just straight up says, too, like, if you ever do that again, I will yeet you off this fucking mountain. I swear to God.
I know.
Weirdly out of place, especially for a young reader's book. But but yeah.
Like, you do that again, you will die.
Yeah.
If that horse did not kill, if you weren't dead from that horse, you soon will be.
Yeah.
And of
Oh
course,
my goodness. Who is this?
Is it? Could it be?
God, Swert, Orikume, where did you come from? I thought that was Josie in that coat. But it turns out Josie was in the coat. It just wasn't her. Well, Josie, why did your chest burst out of that coat?
I thought it was
So-
Friday. I thought the recording was on Friday this week.
No.
What?
No.
Oh
no,
fuck!
it's earlier.
Oh fuck! I fucked
Nobody
up.
ever said Friday.
Oh fuck!
No, we always said
Well,
Thursday.
Yeah, we threw around the idea of it being Friday, but we never settled on it.
I fucked
Don't worry,
up.
Josie. We covered you already. I just said a cat should be taking a nap until you get here.
How long
You
is
even said I can do it. I can do it 9 times.
How long is recording been? Is
Two and a quarter hours,
Yeah.
And yet we're still only halfway through it.
Oh, jeez,
fuck,
really?
I fucked up.
and I need to work tomorrow.
Oh no.
Oh fuck!
We gotta hurry.
Yes. Okay. So.
I have to be up in 7 hours.
I didn't.
So have
I
I.
didn't.
Jeez.
Also, Josie, you're a little quiet.
I didn't even finish reading. Okay, hold on. I have to. All right, I moved a table.
I mean, to be fair, it's been 2 hours. We could make this a 2-parter.
Oh jeez.
God.
Is that possible? You can split up podcasts into multiple parts? What?
All right. Where did I say that thing I said about 9 times?
In episode planning, Curtis said it's got to be the 17th, and you said I can do that. I can do that 9 times.
I misread the calendar. I thought 17 was Friday.
Aha.
I fucked up. Oh god.
You're fine.
I've
Well,
had
there
a
we are,
very,
viewers. There's a peek behind the curtains. That's when we're recording this.
I have had a very hard week.
Yeah.
It is fine.
Yeah, I heard about that.
You're fine.
Oh no, it got even harder. So my Twitter's been locked for the last 3 days.
Well, yeah, I knew that at least.
Oh yeah, and another thing happened I don't want to talk about, but
Yeah, fair enough.
I got that fixed today. I took a bus to Burger King. It was gonna be McDonald's, but my phone doesn't work at McDonald's either. My cell phone wasn't working all over the place. I've tweeted too many links to myself, and Twitter was all like, "Oh, don't do that." So they locked me, and I had to get a phone, but my phone don't work because of signals. So then I went.
I've been having phone troubles today as well. It's kind of weird.
So I walked a half a mile out of my apartment, and my phone worked, but I wasn't able to walk home in time. The code expired, so I had to go to Walmart. But my phone works at Walmart, but the Wi-Fi don't work at Walmart, so I couldn't use Twitter. So then I thought, okay, fine, tomorrow I'll go to McDonald's. Phone don't work at McDonald's. Gotta go to Burger King. Had an Impossible Whopper. It tasted very burger. No more reason.
I should imagine it would.
No more reason to eat meat.
Oh, is that their like Beyond Meat thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
We breed cows just to slaughter them for a single protein that, if you inject it into a veggie patty, makes it taste exactly like a beef patty.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's not 100% vegan after all.
It's not 100%. It's got a drop of blood in it.
Strange.
It's better to inject the burger with cow than to make the burger from cow.
I suppose so.
All right, so where were we? Where were we?
Yeah. let's get back to the book. So anyway, let's see. The guys are making their way to Tassara, and they're testing out their new powers with their weapons.
Holy fuck! That's where you guys are. Holy fuck!
We told you, don't worry about it.
Now, is that a holy fuck of, oh wow, you've done this so fast, or oh wow, this has been 2 hours and you're only there?
Yeah.
Holy
shit!
This is without Josie.
That's without Josie. This is without Josie, and you're only here. Holy fuck!
And I have to be awake in
so
7
does that mean
hours,
we can
and
blame
so does
Liam?
Curtis, and this is fantastic.
Like, Liam is the one who made this show PG-13 in the first 30 within the first 10 seconds of the first episode.
Yep.
So
dear.
every time I tweet the playlist of this show from Bionicles, I gotta tell people explicit language warning, and it's not my fault. Anyway,
hey listeners, tell us in the comments if we're still recording this when you hear it.
So this happens to be the part where I was at in the book, I think, a little bit after this, and I have notes about this. Surprisingly, Let's see.
Do you have any notes that happened before they get to the bit where they're testing out their powers?
I have the note about that part.
Okay, I might as well say it now then.
All right. So the Mask of... Oh, yeah, I do have lots and lots of notes before then that I guess I'll read at the end of the episode, and we can play it off.
Okay.
The Mask of Life gave Gresh, the Jungle Gladiatorian, power over
We
air.
already talked about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's weird. All right. So...
I am
had
glad to
more
know
notes.
I did a good job of interpreting cat.
So... maybe the jungle tribe just assumed they were the jungle tribe this whole time, because that was the environment they were most comfortable in. There isn't really an environment that corresponds to air. They didn't actually have elemental powers at the time, so what's the difference? Who cares? You like green.
I guess, but there was an elemental lord of jungle, so that kind of complicates matters.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But then again, the Elemental Lord of Jungle was created by the Great Beings, so he's completely unrelated to the tribes of the planet that already existed there.
You don't need
perhaps.
to bait me.
He was just given the jungle to rule over. He wasn't, like, the originator of the people there or anything.
That's true.
Quote from Gresh, "You don't need to baby me, Kina." My response, my reaction, "Fuck you, you are baby."
Yeah.
I guess also Kina is probably Chun-Li.
Maybe.
From Avatar?
What?
What?
Isn't there a character called Chun-Li in Avatar?
No,
Dai
that's
Li.
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter is Chun-Li. Avatar is
Oh.
Dai Li.
Yeah.
The only character I remember from Avatar off the top of my head is Uncle Iroh.
He's a good boy.
Hero.
I have
very good boy.
Iroh.
I have no notes going forward because I was at page. Let me scroll up. 1861 last night.
What happened in the year 1861? We'll never
In
know.
the year 1861, we all died and humanity ceased to exist.
I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
In the year
Probably.
1861, we began this podcast.
Well, I can tell you right now from one of my notes on page 1863 that was the section with the Glatorian flashback to the Core War.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we're quite near that actually.
I like cores.
So yeah, right now, they're testing out their powers. Akara's saying some more basic stuff about, find the enemy's weakness, use it against them, and then in the movie, I love his line delivery on "if you can."
Madanui says Akara reminds him of Onawa, someone that he only knows from
Onua.
his dreams.
Yeah.
How did I say it?
He
You
said
said Onawa.
Onawa.
I literally just woke up. I've had energy drinks like 4 days in a row. I am crashing so hard.
Oof.
My life has been hell. Twitter. Why is Ben Shapiro not suspended for his gun threats, but I am suspended because I want people to know where they can buy toys? I was suspended over Lego. That's my fucking job, Twitter. Is Ben Shapiro's job guns? I'm pretty sure he's just a guy who says stuff.
His entire job is to make people like us very pissed off at him. Unfortunately, he gets paid good money for it, and we should be the ones getting paid to put up with it. Sorry, this is my political talk, because I hate him too.
I love you. You're a good boy.
So anyway, the whole gang, they eventually make it to the twin villages of Tassara, which
I didn't know there were. Why are there two villages?
I don't know. I guess it's just so they can have two
they just
halves
call
that
it
they
the
twin
twin
village.
Diversity.
Gee, Billy, why does your mom let you have two villages?
It's because they're made of legs.
They
This is
are,
the
in
fun
fact,
part
made
as
of
well.
leg.
This entire village is also like the only place you see any green in it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
like green?
We do.
It's weird that the place with the oasis isn't the place with all the greenery.
Right? It's like, think about it. Taejun has all the water, but
Mhm.
Tassara has all the greenery. And they're not, I mean, as close as they are, they're not that close to each other, really. Not
It's
enough to
because they
justify.
have big green kidney beans.
Oh, of
So,
course.
so that tells me that there's definitely some hidden water that they're not talking about. It's like, every time you walk in, it's like, huh, are those trees and all the
hot
plants and
springs to
the
the
grass?
That's true. Yeah, they do have the hot springs. So
Yeah,
It's
but
probably
that,
you can't
Maybe
really
it's not a
drink
source
hot-
of fresh water.
So
Maybe, like,
okay,
if it's a hot springs, it's clearly volcanic, so...
yeah.
So
Most
here's
likely.
the thing. Here's the thing. Even if you could drink hot spring water, it's a desert. You're not going to want to drink hot water.
You can cool it
Actually,
down.
hot water is better for you in a desert.
It's better for you in a desert, but no one wants to drink it because it's hot.
Fair enough.
I mean, if it has volcanic activity, then it's definitely pure enough because nothing's living in it.
Mhm.
The acidity is just high enough that it won't want anything. Nothing will live in it.
Yeah, the cold water is probably underground. They don't really go underground a lot because that's where the
Well, and the cold water
not
probably has
salt.
enough bacteria and things living in it. Assuming bacteria and things live in this universe.
I'm pretty sure they're extremophiles somewhere.
I mean,
I
we have
said the
prototypes.
I said the Skrull live underground, and I want to correct myself. It's actually the boys.
What?
Borox, that's what I meant to say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the Vorox. They live
Yeah.
in caves and stuff. Yeah.
It's the only way they can survive in the wasteland.
Yeah, they live underground.
But
They're
yeah, quick note about Tassara. You know, I realized while reading this, they're the only village that has done nothing wrong. Like, you got Iconox, they're all bastards. You got Volcanus, which has Ranu in it.
Which is enough of a bastard for everybody.
Exactly. You've got Tejun, which has Berix in it.
Which is just about enough of a bastard for the rest of the Gory nation.
I mean, Berix was a good guy until this book, and then suddenly he took a nosedive into being an asshole.
Yeah.
And, also, I guess there is one thing Tessara does have. A whiny little bitch named Gresh.
Well, Gresh isn't that bad. He's just lightened up a bit since the last time we saw him.
He's the kid appeal character.
I like to think of Gresh as Captain America, but like not as strong.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, apparently his weapon is a shield. I didn't realize that, I think, when I first called him Captain America.
Yeah, but then he has a shield that shoots air.
Well,
Figure that
Captain
one out.
America has a shield made from fucking MacGuffin metal.
That's true.
Yeah.
Side note,
Very-
Captain America also had a gun in the first movie that he had.
Oh yeah, Gresh does have a gun, doesn't he? But yeah, figures that the village that doesn't fuck with people whenever they can is the one that the Goody Two Shoes man is looking from.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
But anyway, right now, the Tessara is hosting a Glatorian match, because, that's a thing that they do. I'm not sure what the purpose of this match is, exactly.
It's a distraction.
Resources. Also,
that's right, yeah.
It
showing
says
off
that
the
it's
toy
over food.
function.
It's also a
They're showing off the
distraction.
toy function, because they finally have a Thornax launcher.
Yeah. So it's
It's,
Tarix versus Vastus. Tarix confirmed here to be the reigning champion of all Glatorian. Apparently he won the last time they had an Atero tournament.
Since everybody here is aware of the plot twist, it's all this fight also serves as a distraction. Because Metis didn't want people knowing about paying attention to Tejun while the Skrull and Bowhunters attacked.
That's true, yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah, in fact, they pulled Tarix away from a training match he was supposed to be having with Gresh and Kina.
Yeah.
You guys
I will be
talked-
right back, by the way.
Okay.
You guys talked about how. God damn it! I was just about to talk to you about you, Liam.
Anyway,
Damn it! You guys
Just ask
you
the
guys,
question, we'll answer.
Yeah.
You guys talked about yet how Liam almost placed medicine a thing?
Yes.
Yeah, he mentioned
Yes.
Yeah.
that. He
Yeah.
even did a little demonstration of his voice acting capabilities.
Oh no, he always does that because he's always in Metis mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we mentioned that as well. His Metis voice is just him.
So,
He's just always a little bitch.
can we confirm at this point that means Liam is always a slimy bastard?
Yes,
Yeah,
that,
but
I thought that was the implication made. Yeah.
that's the point of this
I
whole
think-
podcast, really.
Somebody had to be the one to say it. I'm sorry. And if that
Liam-
ends up to the
I'm too
podcast,
good-natured.
here's that. Obviously, I don't really care.
Liam
Right.
is the.
Despite me being the sass lass.
Liam is the guy. Fuck. I can't remember. What's Bender's voice actor's name from Future Show? Shake the Dog from Adventure Show.
John DiMaggio?
Yeah. Liam is the Joe DiMaggio of Binicles.
Yeah.
Yeah, John DiMaggio.
Yeah.
So Liam could be vendor. Interesting.
Yeah, Liam could be the Bender. Liam Metis is the Bender of Binicles.
Do you know, I was actually at my first Emerald City Comic Con. I know I'm sidetracking, but at this point we could probably cut this waiting for Liam to get back. I met a few different voice actors that were all on a panel in an open room, and nobody was asking for money to be signing. So I actually got to be in line meeting Kevin Conroy, which was freaking amazing because
I love him.
Kevin Conroy is amazing, and the Batman we absolutely deserve today. But also along the line, you had a various other panel of other voice actors. So sitting next to Kevin Conroy was, I know her face, I know her name. She became the voice actress for Harley. She also does Raven. I know her name. I don't remember.
Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Thank you. She was right
Yeah.
there with him, sitting right next to him. And I'm like,
She
that's pretty
voices-
cool. Because
Well,
she
that's
also,
wow.
literally
this has
Voice
just
is
been right
literally-
after they did Arkham City, so they'd worked together a lot already.
Why are we talking about Batman?
We're talking
Because
about
you were away for a minute. But the
Oh.
point is, along
You
the
didn't
line,
have to stop.
further down the
Liam.
line, no, this is related. Trust me. Down the line was John DiMaggio. He was on that panel as well, or just people you can go meet. And I'm like, that's freaking amazing.
We were talking about it because I called you the Joe DiMaggio of Binicles.
How's that?
Again, it's John DiMaggio, but that's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
How am I that though?
Because
Voice acting.
You were hired to voice act a character and just use your regular ass voice because you're always a pussy bitch.
You can bite my ass.
Pineapple.
There's snake tits in Ninjago now.
Moving on.
That's where we cut back in after all that. Anyway, where the hell
Tassara.
were we? Yeah, Tassara.
Tassara Arena.
Vastus is a cool dude. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, Tarix and Vastus, they're having their little match, and Akar's just like,
I shoot you with
no.
the thorn axe. It
Yeah.
misses.
No, I shoot you.
Yeah.
Except
then
in the
it
book, it didn't miss
I
apparently.
fired, and then I missed, and I fired again, and then I missed again, and I fired.
He used a
and I missed.
reverse Uno
And a
card.
popsicle.
And then Akar just
I ate a
stomps up in
popsicle,
there, and
and
he's
then
like,
I
I
no,
tried to eat the
and I
popsicle,
missed.
and I miss.
fighting between Glatorian must stop for some reason. Even though he hasn't really shown that intent before this point. He's just like, yep, this is what I'm doing now. This is my crusade. We're going to stop
And
fighting.
Akar spends like the last chapter teaching Mananui that it's important to predict people's actions before you go do stupid shit. And then he's all like, I'm pretty sure this is going to cause a riot, what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Yeah. So
We're under
he,
attack.
yeah, he basically says, hey, common enemy,
Hey,
guys.
yeah, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we're all gonna die, and I have some survivors who can confirm it. It's all bad, and also I have a god here. He's neat.
Yeah.
I got my pet alien.
If he headsbutt stuff, it becomes fancy.
Yeah. And
But don't worry, I have fire now. Nothing will burn under my watch.
This is where the Jesus parallels with Matanui start becoming rather apparent. Because he's literally just like, yeah, if we're taking the great beings as God in this case, then he is God's son. He came from the heavens, and he's here to perform miracles and help us and shit. And it's like,
Oh
okay.
my gosh. I didn't
And all
even
I'm getting from
realize
this is just Zion, hear me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he would be able to walk on water if there was ever a point where he was. I don't think that he's.
if there's any water to walk on.
Have you ever seen water and Matanui in the same? Well, he lived on a planet with water for a while.
Can he turn water into wine is the real question.
Probably. There's bacteria in the water.
Can he turn water into energized protodermis?
That I don't.
No, but energized protodermis can turn him into water.
Oh. Could
But
it
only
though?
if it's his destiny.
On Bar Magna, water becomes you.
It's his destiny to become wet.
It's
So,
all of our destinies become wet, if you catch my drift.
Not mine, unfortunately, it seems.
SCP
So
3300 The Rain.
So apparently, my joke about Zion isn't too far off. If we're gonna go right after that speech to, the giant ass orgy scene.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
You know,
Moving
what you know what I just realized is I don't have Audacity open. I'm sorry, you'll have to use Greg.
Okay.
I'm
That's
so
fine.
sorry. I fucked up.
Yeah,
You're
no
fine.
worries. It's alright. Anyway, so
Orgies.
yeah, but basically the Glatorian are like, yep, we're gonna protect you from the Squall and the Bone Hunters, but only if all the villagers work together. Starting with these 2 villages in Tassara, let's just clean that up. Let's just make them 1 village again. Come on, guys.
And the villagers go, but what about this stranger? And he turns a sword fancy, and they go, oh wow, we like you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, all it takes
We
is a
can't
party
fight
trick.
with our broken stuff. Here, I will fix your broken stuff. There.
Yeah.
Not only have I made it better, but it also has long distance now.
Yeah.
And yet, like,
Literally.
he only fixes, like, a few of their weapons.
Yeah. You'd think
Yeah.
that after that, he'd just basically be like a weapons factory. Like, everyone would be coming up to him like, hey,
Like
fix
a
mine,
whole
fix
line
mine.
of Agorian, Glatorian.
Yeah.
You know what? At that point, he could easily just start up his own merchant, stand. Be like,
yeah.
come one, come all. Just hand me, like, 2 widgets. What's a widget?
Well, I mean,
I will teach you
we
what a widget is
established-
after I get over here.
Well, we established that shields were currency earlier.
Yeah.
That's true.
Just give me 2
Mises
shields.
just
hand me a
immediately
shield.
gives up his plans of world domination and decides to start a weapons business with Matanui instead.
So does that mean that Gresh's weapon is just an oversized novelty check?
Wait, hang on. Big robot suit, and he makes weapons. Matanui is Tony Stark.
And Gresh is Captain America, so where is our Thor?
And Matanui, he's stuck in a desert. He has to rebuild his life from nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a
And
literal
then,
box of scraps.
And then he
So
has
far,
to-
we've had references to Mad Max, The Predator, and now for some reason Iron Man, which came out after this.
Well, actually, no. Iron Man 1 came out before this, so...
Oh,
It came
well,
out in
fantastic. It all
2008.
works.
Yeah.
And
Fantastic.
also, Iron Man is from the 60s, and his origin story was accurately portrayed.
Oh, okay.
As
didn't
accurate as
realize-
you're going to get it, at least.
I didn't realize he did the whole desert thing in the comics as well.
Well, as far as getting hit with shrapnel and having it hit near his heart, yeah, that's accurate.
I'm pretty sure the war that was in the comics was different than the one in the movie.
Pretty sure it was. I
Yeah.
do know he built the iron suit itself to be kind of like an iron lung, is how it was originally portrayed.
I mean,
Yeah.
So he was never supposed to come back out of it.
I am Lung Man.
yeah, he basically just wanted to fuck shit up for the guys.
Doesn't sound as intimidating as Iron
His
Man.
superpower is to breathe.
Oh, that's fine, because here's the thing. He also had micro transceivers or something like that. No, micro transistors. That was the big power behind his entire suit.
Oh,
Did you know that
wow.
Iron
Science
Man
gobbledygook. Yes.
Did you know that Iron
Well,
Man
no,
didn't
it's
used to be
literally
able to-
just, like, a computer chips. That's
Yeah.
that's his power.
Did you know that Iron Man didn't used to be able to fly? He got around places by using roller skates.
Yes.
Huh.
There's a
They've
Crimson Shin
changed
villain.
quite a bit since the original design.
I
There's
kind
a
of like the new one.
There's a Crimson Shin villain called the Iron Lung.
A Crimson Chin villain. I love that there's an alternate universe inside of Fairly Odd Parents for the
There is
Crimson
several.
Chin.
There are several. There was an entire Crash Nebula episode.
Can we move on, please?
Yeah, we really
Yeah,
should.
but
No,
please,
Liam, this will be
please.
our longest episode, and you will like it.
So,
Moving on.
I guess
100,000
you're
years
responsible
ago.
for paying my student debt, then.
100,000 years ago, 2 great beings, they're just talking about shit that's happening. They're talking about the war. They're talking about the Element Lords. They're talking about how maybe everything's their fault, but kind of not really, but also it really is their fault. And now they should probably
Oh,
take
their
responsibility for all this.
They are the worst gods. They are
They are
not the worst gods.
Really inept.
The one
Really
from our
not
the one
that
from
great.
our one from our world is pretty much the worst god. But
So,
these guys are on the top 10 list of worst gods.
Yeah.
Again, it goes back to kind of like the moral gray area of, are they really that perfect? Not really.
No. And they can't seem to agree on anything either. Like, they're just constantly arguing about, oh, well, I think Angons was right about this thing, and the other guy's like, no, Angons is stupid. Heramus, he's the real smart one.
Is that how you pronounce it?
No, I thought it was the other way around.
I would have
well,
I would have thought the name would be pronounced Angans because it's
Also,
it's like
Who is
Agony.
that character supposed to be?
Mm.
I mean, they're great beings, and
Moving
2 of
on.
them have been named so far. That's what we got.
There you go.
And they're really concerned that they failed in their destiny, and they now have a duty.
Yeah.
Perhaps to create unity?
Mayhaps.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
they're gonna make a big fucking robot. about it.
But meanwhile, while that's happening, we flash cut to Tarex at the same time, and he's just talking about how he really hates politics. All this shit that's going down, all this war. He's like, oh, politics, I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much.
Don't we all?
Hey, conservatives and or centrists, quote unquote. Hating politics is still politics.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, if you don't like it when people talk about politics, guess what? You're talking about politics. That's a political view. You're an asshole.
It is indeed. Libertarianism exists.
I hate Terex. He's my least favorite guy. I know nothing about him except this moment.
Tarex is a good boy. I like him.
Yeah.
I also want to point out something. This was no doubt written for 2009, so I think it would have been written just around 2007, 2008. So politics would have absolutely been a big thing in America's history at that time. Because that was a huge time.
Yeah, well, this story specifically was written after that because this is Decadence that we're talking about right now.
Oh, and that means it would have been around about 2009, 2010.
America elected the first black president, and he was pretty good for 7 years.
I have to ask Doric if he actually wrote that specifically because he also hates politics.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I should just poke him.
But anyway, so Tarex and Vastus, they have a bit of a clash because, they're on opposing sides of the war. And Vastus almost kills Tarex. But Tarex is like, you would have killed me by now if you really wanted to. I got something you want. That's what it is, isn't it? And they have a little laugh about it. They obviously don't really want to kill each other. They're just doing their jobs. And they agree on a temporary truce. And while in this truce, they have a look around for a secret a secret tunnel to a pool of energized protodermis, which is the thing that everyone's after at this time.
War crimes.
I believe Tarex is like, yeah, we kidnapped some guys from the Ice Village, and and they told us about this whole secret thing, and then we let them go, and they're probably gonna tell their boss that they told us, so we should probably hurry about this. And we should have left yesterday if we're gonna get to this place on time. Whoops. But they go through the plan anyway. They go to where this secret cave is supposed to be.
And they find a hot rock.
Yeah, it's marked by a rock that's really hot, but also only when you touch it. Like, you can't feel its heat without touching it. Which is strange.
And a bird burns its feet off.
It does. Poor bird.
Birds don't need
It's not just warm, it's really fucking hot.
It burns its feet and then immediately goes back to thinking about dinner.
Yeah.
Well,
As
it's
birds
a bird. Birds don't need their feet.
I guess.
And that's why the Great Beings designed Gecko without them.
Yeah.
I love the. It was interesting when they mentioned the Darkfire torch. Also, if I felt like, okay, when did we start playing D&D?
The Darkfire torch has been mentioned before.
Yeah.
Okay.
They travel with it in the desert to stop bone hunters seeing them in the dark. And...
Yeah.
Obligatory Red Star Gaming reference now that D&D has been mentioned.
Oh yeah, they were doing a thing, weren't they?
Yep, they are a card game.
Also, I want to point out, I just mentioned that we were talking about this story to Doric, and he said, "What? And I wasn't invited?" And he's like, "That." And I'm like, "Well, you can crash it. We're on Discord." He's like, "I'm still working." Oh well.
It's a mute point.
Well, Doric, if you're watching this on YouTube, hi.
Hi.
I mean, he's right here in the server. You could just poke him.
Wait, he's in the server? I didn't even notice it.
Regularly cool archivist. You ever notice there were two of us?
There he is.
Hey,
I'm the one who gave him that role, and I didn't even notice.
Hey, what's your name? If you're listening, sorry I said that stuff about hating conservatives. I mean, not conservative. Well, yes, hating conservatives and centrists. You may be one. You're one of them.
I am indeed a centrist as well,
You're one of the good ones. Well, Levi, I already guessed what with your pro Brexit and all that. That's okay. You're one of the good ones. And Gonto voted for Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
Everyone's
I forgot
allowed to be
about
wrong
that.
once or twice.
Because he was worried Hillary Clinton would be a warmonger.
I mean,
To be
I gotta
fair,
do
she
that.
would have.
Courage.
I got news flash. I'm pretty sure he's been more. Never mind. I'm not going into politics today.
Yeah, we're
Fucking Donald Trump caused the genocide.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
no, he proliferated a genocide. The genocide was already occurring.
Actually, apparently they've
He
called
just made
for
it
a ceasefire
worse.
for 120 hours, but still, moving on.
I'll just say
I'm
this:
making fart
Hillary
noises.
Clinton
Is
wants to
microphone
destroy
picking
the
it up?
world. Trump is just going to do it by accident. Anyway,
Are you
Back to the
done?
politics podcast. This is no longer Bionicle.
no.
The second you mention politics, it is no longer Bionicle.
We're going back to a
Oh, no.
war from 100,000 years ago.
Yes.
Yep.
No
hundred-
politics
the
here,
100,000
just war.
The 100,000 year
Hot rocks,
100,000 years
caves.
war.
Yes. So, Vastus and Tarex, they've taken a small group each to the ice place to find the secret cave. And who is there when they get there but Malum, of course. He's leading a little troop of fireboys, and, they ambush him. And Vastus and Tarex try to hide and, regroup, try and figure out what we're going to do. But Vastus is like, I could just stab you in the back and run. And then he does.
And then they get double ambushed.
Yes. So yeah, Vastus and his boys jet on out there.
And I like how he gets the arrow in his shoulder and he's like, I have an arrow in... It would be a good idea if I turned to look at where this arrow came from.
Yeah.
They described his actual thought process.
Yeah.
Why would you want to look at the thing that's hitting
I
you?
could pull it out, but it would hurt a lot.
Yeah. So the arrow was fired by Swertavus, of all people.
It's actually best to leave that shit in until you get to a place where first
Yeah.
aid can be administered.
Swertavus is Legolas, confirmed.
He is, basically. I like how one of
Swertavus is
Swertavus...
more like MacGyver, actually.
Yeah. So one of Swertavus's
I'll be
guys
back in a
is
second.
like... Okay. One of Swertavus's guys is like so enamored by Swertavus's ability to fire one arrow. He's just like, whoa, I've never seen this before. And all the others are just laughing at him. They're like, yeah, he's cool. Get over it.
Everybody.
Yeah. So it describes how, Tarex and his boys, they got out of there eventually. And then it just quickly rattles off, oh yeah, then the shattering happened and everyone was kind of friends forever, the end.
I love how fast that happened, too.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like, I get it.
Lego
But,
actually makes waffles now.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just reading that. So we got Legolas, we got Lego Legolas, we got Legless Lego Legolas, we got Lego Lego Legolas, Legolas.
And then Legless Legolas. Legless Lego Legolas is
my
Legolas.
Lego, Ego, Legless, Lego, Legolas.
Yep, and Lego actually makes waffle pieces now, so this meat can be made even better.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So,
Where were we?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Chapter 40 now, I think?
For you it would
39.
be chapter 39. For me, it's
Yeah.
chapter 38 because I'm reading the web version.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get to weeks ago. Chuma and Stronius, they're on a little jaunt to go and meet the Sisters of the Skrull.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So apparently the Skrull are completely separated by sex. All the females live in one tribe. All the males live in another.
That must make dating hard.
Yeah.
Especially
you
since
say
all the
that,
females
but-
hate the males.
Yeah, they
and
really hate them.
want to kill them. Just all of them.
I mean, they might keep a couple locked up for breeding, but
Snoo,
You say that,
I mean,
but
snoo,
they're
snoo.
the exact same. They're the exact same age as they were before the Core War. So
yeah.
Mm.
Greg
Death
Greg
by
is
Snoo
put-
Snoo.
Greg has pushed the boundaries of what can and can't be in a children's book so much. I don't know if he'd be willing to go with sex slave farms.
Maybe not. But,
I mean,
we
that's
can imagine.
that is most definitely what is happening here.
I mean, he's already gone for normal slave farms, so it's only one step up.
That's true.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
There could just be some metal scroll chained up in a thing somewhere, and we get the implication. You can even put them on a boat, and then we'll definitely know there's an implication. Because of boats.
Yeah. So as it turns out, the female Skrull, they have this psionic ability. They can telepathically blast you, and also cause hallucinations. Why exactly?
Women.
It says they evolved that to endure the hatred and violence of the males.
Okay.
Okay, but here's the thing. Why didn't they turn around and use these powers to kind of domicile the males?
Well, I mean, I'm more concerned by the fact that it's basically saying that domestic violence is a force for genetic enhancement. It's basically saying that's the next step in our evolution.
Most of the Skrull are pretty stupid, so psionics wouldn't be very useful against them.
I mean, psionics can really fuck them up, as is shown here. Like,
it literally shows them breaking the leader of the Skrull's mind.
So it's like an X-Men thing. So most of the X-Men are pretty fucking powerful. A lot of them are pretty much literally gods. I think Storm is literally worshipped as a god in Africa.
She's considered an Omega-class mutant.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. But the X-Men still are considered an oppressed group because humans hate them. And they don't want to just take over the world. That's kind of what Magneto's deal is, and he's a villain. Okay. And so it's kind of like maybe the Skrull girls, they hate the Skrull boys, but they're all like that. Don't want to subjugate them.
Oh no, they explicitly want to subjugate. They want. Their god is basically the guy that taught them how to subjugate.
Here's here's what really happened. Greg thought it would be a cool idea and didn't think about it too hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
There are a lot of very, very bad implications of this.
Yeah.
You know, oh god, I don't want to bring that subject up.
So
I think
we don't have to.
I mean,
the Skrull girls are
was married at this point.
Oh no.
Maybe this is why they divorced. Let's not let Greg listen to this podcast.
Look, he was just trying to make his wife psychic, okay?
Okay.
Oh god,
no.
Anyway, so the Skrull girls are basically Doomsday from Superman.
Red alert! All hands emergency escape pods. Moving on.
Okay. So the
snap that out of reality.
The current day, present time, Matanui.
At this time of year, at this geographical location, localized entirely in your kitchen.
Yes, that's where all of Bionicle takes place, in my kitchen. So
I mean, Bionicle took place in a lot of people's kitchens.
That is true. But anyway, so they're wondering about, what are the Skrull and Bone Hunters gonna do next now that they've taken Tejun? And Akar's like, well, they're probably gonna go for Iconox next, which means they're gonna have to go through Tassara. So we should probably defend Tassara first.
No, the explanation was that they'd have to, they'd have to go through Tassara, so they didn't want Tassara to, be on their back line.
Yes, that's right, yeah. Which is
the real reason that they're going to Tassara is because they're there, and Greg didn't want to write another Go Places chapter.
Well, yeah, but it also makes sense, if you look at it on a map. You can see, Tejun, and then north of that is Iconox, and right between the two is Tassara.
The Skrull think there's some really smart shit but they're very predictable.
But anyway, so yeah, they decide.
Maybe it's because they're not being led by a Skrull right now.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, let's fortify and defend Tasara. Cool.
He could. I have a note here from back when Tuma was talking to himself. He could have just told the Agori about the Batara and negotiated stuff peacefully, but that was not the Skrull way.
You know what? I have the exact same note, and I think I worded it the exact same way.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I wrote, well, then the Skrull way is stupid, because that would have been the ideal choice. Because then you wouldn't have to, just like...
They're bad guys for bad guys' sake. There's not a lot of thought put into them.
You know, that's an interesting point. Imagine that conversation. The Skrull, these big, burly, monstrous things coming from the mountains, and then they just walk up. Here's the biggest baddest one of them all. His name is Tuma. He introduces himself and he says, "So we've got these things up in the mountain we need to fight. You gotta want to come help."
Yeah.
What would their response be?
Basically, clear a large enough space for them to fight.
Right.
Basically, just say, "Hey, you know those arenas you have? Can you build a really big one out of your villages?" Just rearrange your villages into a big circle and just have a flat, empty space, because we're fighting some shapeshifters, and we kind of need a flat, empty space so that anything they shapeshift into will be obvious.
Yeah, I mean, okay, to be fair, right? Even before the Batera attack drove the Skrull out of the north, the Skrull were already assholes. Like, everyone already hated them.
Yeah.
So I can understand them not just wanting to ask for help.
It didn't seem like they were just slaughtering people for fun.
They were raiding them and stealing their shit, though.
Yeah, but now.
Yeah, the only reason they didn't raid that one Agori village is literally so that they could get to Spring and make more food so that they could raid them then.
Now they're just flat out destroying villages because they need the space.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, so I have a more humorous note here. Did the Skrull name the Batara a word for farts?
Yes, silent but deadly.
Silent. Yeah. So that note I had about how the Skrull are fucking stupid. They should have just told the Agori about the Batara. I didn't write Batara. I wrote it fart robots.
Okay.
So I guess not the exact wording of what you said, Squigby.
But,
I just called you Chip. I just called you Squigby, and I don't know what that means.
Okay.
It might be a slur in some countries. I don't know what the fuck. I'm so tired.
Anyway, so yeah.
Nighttime.
Yes, nighttime. Kina and Berix, they're out wandering. Specifically, Berix is just out wandering, following who he thinks is the traitor. And Kina is following Berix because she thinks he's the traitor. But as it quickly becomes apparent he's not the traitor, and actually the actual traitor, Metis, it just ambushes them both with a bunch of
that
hunters.
one shifty guy.
Yeah,
who is
the only guy who it possibly could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, turns out it's him.
What if it turned out it was Barrett's?
What if it was Berix?
What if it turned
Too
out
obvious.
it was Barrett's? What if it turned out it was Ragu?
Hmm.
And
I could have believed that.
Palpatine behind it all.
I mean, he would have been the only other main character at Volcanus.
That is true.
What if it turned out it was me and I did it just because I wanted this podcast to be over?
Whoa, that's deep.
It's me, Austin.
I like pizza roll.
So, anyway. Yeah, so they get captured and taken off to the Skrull village. Or Skrull city, I suppose. And, Metis runs in all looking all innocent into Tasara. He's like, "Oh no, Kina and Berix have been captured. Whatever are we to do?" And Ranu's like, "Oh yeah, I also saw that." Because I guess he was out at night too.
So Matanui just goes, "Fuck it, I'll do it."
Yeah, literally, like they suggest everyone going to go rescue them, But then, Ranu quite rightly says, no, that's a really stupid idea. What if they attack us while you're gone? And so Ranu is like, oh yeah, okay. I guess everyone else stay here. I'll just go rescue them. I'm God, I can do that.
That's a very good idea. Have I mentioned I've only been alive for like a week?
Yeah. Probably
But
not
then
even
it doesn't
that.
matter because they go anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, eventually they get everyone, including the Gory, I think, to come along. But yeah, for now, Matanui goes alone. And but before he does, he manages to see them pulling the two halves of Tisara together, quite literally, like with ropes and everything. They just drag the villagers together.
And he's like, oh wow,
honest.
them's me legs.
It is.
I'll be completely honest. When I watched the movie, I had no idea why the fuck they had giant fucking robot limbs in their villages. I didn't realize until reading this book, oh, they've been using the giant robot limbs as shelter.
Yeah.
That's why they kept them around. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they literally have been built to shelter things, so...
They were that. They were that. I was just so confused. Like, what do they think these things are? Did they not question it?
Just
At
really
that
big
scale,
sideways buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the movie, we find out, which was kind of obvious in retrospect, it's a giant robot, although one significantly smaller than the other.
Yeah. I mean,
They're
the
like,
thing
why
is...
are all these doors really short and wide?
So, yeah, the thing is, like, at that scale, like, this is a huge robot, and it's all broken up into pieces. So, I can understand why nobody ever noticed before that they're giant limbs.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like why they're flat earthers, because the Earth looks flat.
Yeah.
So it's flat. Lots of things don't look like things until you're things. Like
That's
ants
true. Then again,
ants probably don't realize that the big shoe-sized things that smush them are connected to giants.
I found out the other day that ants there are species that crawl into the noses of creatures and eat their lungs. So
What?
I'm going to go ahead and sit there and say,
No,
Yeah.
please,
I'm
no.
skipping off that conversation.
yeah, that exists.
I'm linking an image. This is not related to anything. That was just that. So this is the map of Bear. I believe it is now safe to share this
Absolutely,
with.
I mean, this came out
So
like in a magazine in like January.
right. So I
like
need to clarify
these.
something. I need to clarify something. How could you not know that it's going to be a giant robot when one of the things you have is literally named, and I quote, Knee Island?
Knee Island!
Or Elbow Peak, or Skull Mountain.
Right?
Or Penis Land.
Or as I like to call it, the Mighty Tumba.
Oh god, his name is Tuma, and he's basically the Makuta here. He's a tumor.
Yeah.
And he's living in the skull. Oh god. It goes back to his brain cancer.
Oh no.
Matanui says Tuma reminds him of someone.
Oh my gosh! To quote George Lucas,
It
like
literally
poetry.
is
It
more
rhymes.
cancer. It's just a callback.
Oh no. No matter where Matanui goes, he can't escape cancer.
Yeah, it's like after he got his cancer, he took up smoking, and the cancer came back.
Oh no.
Oof. Also, the Tisara Twin Village. So, wait a minute. I see three peaks there.
Yeah. I always wondered about that in like the movie compared to the map.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They did the hand thing. They did the thing with the hands and the rocks.
No, those are just trees, I think.
What?
Those are giant
those are
severed trees.
Those are giant ass trees.
The Roxas village is like literally ahead. Oh my god.
Meanwhile, like I said, down here in Taejun is Knee Island.
Yep.
And across from that over in Vulcanus.
Island!
Over in Vulcanus, there's the other leg, I think.
Yeah,
That or it
something
could
like
be the penis. I don't know. Meanwhile, there's a
That's
giant skull up in the Skull Mountain, which that's not ominous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
so
Literally,
sad.
if you've got something that's called Skull Mountain, that just implies that's where the bad guys live. I'm sorry.
It's a
Well,
it's a fancy trope.
Yeah.
Ogle lived in a skull island.
Well, with the exception of He-Man. Obviously, they didn't live
Oh
in
yeah, the skull's a good place.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Castle
Skull's
Grace
a good place.
is a good place.
Despite
Yeah.
the fact that you would think that the Skull place would be where the skeleton lives.
Nah.
Just what the hell, people?
I don't think they
Are you
put
trying to
as much.
subvert the trope, or are you trying to reject the trope at that
I
point?
don't think they put as much lore in. I don't think they put as much thought into the lore of He-Man as. Holy shit! Did they put as much thought?
Not until the 2002 reboot.
Did they put as much thought into He-Man as they did in Bionicle?
You know who they didn't put much thought
Eh,
into?
kind of.
Liam,
in
if
the
you
movie
say-
that
if
we're
you
watching
say too
right
much,
now,
I'm
so
gonna
shut up.
fucking kill you.
So yeah, so Kina and Barracks, they're in a cage. Oh dear, they're talking about their feelings. Oh, that's sweet. They don't actually hate each other that much, after all.
And this is where the romance blossoms. Oh wait.
Yeah. But more like the mother-son relationship, I took it as.
Brother sister.
No, she
I'm
totally
going-
has
I
a
thought
dis-
more brother
Nah.
sister.
Okay.
Nah, she completely has a dwarf fetish.
They gonna fuck.
God damn it. So, anyway, Masanui struts up to the Skrull village. He's like, hey, I'm here to fight for my friend's freedom. And
I
you're
fight for
That's
gonna
right. I
honor
got a
that."
big, giant, swinging sword. I'm gonna go
Nice.
free my girl,
Yeah.
I fight for my friends.
and also the dude.
God
Yeah.
damn it, Josie.
I fight for my friends.
But before we get to that fight, we gotta quickly go see what Kapura's doing.
You know,
I love
Maria.
that. It's like Kapura moved swiftly for him.
Yeah.
Good old slow boy. He's the best one. He's
He's breaking speeds of 5 miles an hour.
got two legs and he barely uses them.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently.
Kapura is my spirit, Matorn.
Yeah.
He's my favorite guy. I love him.
So someone left a sign outside his house. That said, apparently the bat signal essentially that they use to call each other.
It's just a really shit picture of a Rai.
Yeah.
Rakshi.
Yeah,
Really badly
Rakshi.
drawn Rakshi. But apparently that works because all unauthorized art is banned at the moment.
Thanks to Turaga Akmu.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I got Akmu.
Makuta really misunderstanding the whole point of there being a universe inside the robot.
Yeah. But yeah, so Akmu has been assigned as the honorary Turaga of Metro Nui, and he just basically wants to.
Titled now the Makuta-verse.
Oh yeah, he's at some point.
I have that in my notes. He fucking called it the Makuta. He fucking calls himself the Makuta-verse now. What the shit?
And Akamu just completely abuses his power. He's like, Spoons, don't like him. Ban him. Spoons banned on Fridays.
Akuma's a little bitch. I hate him.
Yeah.
I love him, but I hate him.
Anyways,
I love
yeah,
him.
Kapura.
Yeah. So Kapura and his friends, such as Maku and I think Hafu.
Well, Kapura
Hafu.
was running to the archives to meet up with Maku.
That's
who,
right,
by the
yeah.
way, is a complete fucking savage.
Oh yeah. Totally.
Did you forget the line where she literally
should
said
have killed that
we
late
should have
lousy
killed
traitor long
Akmu
ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I mean, he gave everyone
Slimy
syphilis.
balls.
Yeah.
I
He
said
gave
syphilis.
everyone a serious case of swamp ass.
He get fuck. Like he betrayed Metro Nui. He gave everyone slimy balls.
Not only that, he betrayed Metru Nui, and the Turaga didn't forget that he did that, but they still let him sell everyone slimy balls.
Well, yeah.
Oh, and the best part is he still remembers everything that happened.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the
because
one
he never
Matoran
went.
that didn't get his
He
memory
never
wiped.
went in a pod. So like,
No,
he
he
went
just,
No, he went in a
No,
pod.
he did. Sorry, yeah.
he went in
Oh,
a
yeah.
pod.
Remember
He just,
anything. He was just
Yeah.
indoctrinated by Makuta because
That's
he's
right,
the one who
yeah.
found him.
Yeah.
he told
no,
him
he,
about the
he
stuff.
knew everything
which-
about Metro Nui. He remembered that.
Yeah,
Wait, did
he
he?
didn't so much as remember as Makuta told him.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
figured.
And
Same
like,
difference.
Hey, Aku, you remember the time when you formed a big boy? It was neat. You're never gonna do that again because everyone hates you.
But yeah. Anyway, point is, these guys, they're huddled up in the archives, a particularly deep level of the archives where Makuta and his goons haven't found them yet. And
baby.
well, yeah. And Maku's like, hey, I've got someone here who could maybe help out a little bit. She says her name is Tuyet. Oh, fuckles.
What?
Oh god, the enemy of my enemy is.
And yet it never.
A badass.
And they
Yeah.
and they never do anything with that plot
Yep.
reveal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It was revealed at some point, though, that basically what happened is, like, at some point, I think it was the Order of Matanui just took the original Tuyet. She wasn't, before the pit was breached. They took her out of there, put her in a different universe, and took a different Tuyet, slaughtered her, and scattered her bones around the pit.
yeah.
Well,
Actually,
Liam-
what it is yeah, no, they took an alternative universe who did not have the stone in her, and she was just left in the pit instead.
Oh.
It's not that they killed her off; she died in the crash, basically.
Right. Okay. But yeah, so this Tuyet here, which universe is she from?
The original, she is the real one with the
Okay.
new
She's
stone.
the original,
Okay. Cool.
and the
great.
Toa Nui stone is actually kind of like in her system now.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
embedded in her.
She just is the new Stone now, and she can at any point just absorb everyone around her.
But as she explains, she is an excellent weapon against Makuta God right now, because he still has to specifically think about someone to to know who they are and what they're doing.
Yeah,
but
as they
there's no
keep
He's
reason
got
he
the
can't
big
think
body,
about
but
it.
not the big brain.
Yeah.
As they keep talking about a lot, he is still getting used to being a giant robot with a universe inside him. So he doesn't know how to look. He doesn't know how to look in every direction at once yet.
He hasn't found the search bar yet.
Yeah, see, as they mentioned, his brain is not designed to go in that body.
Actually, yeah, it is basically he hasn't found the search bar. He has to type in the address.
Yeah,
of
he
everyone
still
wants to look at.
It's
Yeah,
like
he still has to
installing.
Google them.
It's like installing the Mac OS on a Linux box.
Yeah, he's got to get used to all the stuff. He doesn't know anything. Oh fuck! I activated sticky keys. I don't remember how to turn that off.
Damn it! How do I make Steam not come up on startup? Damn it!
But,
God damn it! I just want to play video games, but every time I accidentally hit the guide button, big picture mode activates.
Wait, you're telling me that because he's been asleep for 1,000 years, I now have to download 2 billion terabytes of updates? What the fuck?
Damn it! Now I opened Epic. That's gonna take another 5 hours to open.
So I'm not gonna say how he gets defeated, but I think that him just not knowing how to be a giant robot is the only reason he does.
You may be a victim of software piracy.
Because Makuta plans for any eventuality, but the one eventuality he probably didn't plan on is this robot is not user friendly.
yeah.
Damn it! I don't want a McAfee. Just give me Windows Defender.
But anyway, yeah. So for now, the big leg up they have on him is he has no reason to ever visit tuyet.com. So they don't know what.
Yeah.
So he doesn't know what she's doing right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like where you think you deleted the file, but it's just stuck in your recycle bin for the next few 1,000 years.
Yeah. So yeah, but basically the plan is she can help him do something without Makuta noticing. Cool. And then we go back to Bar Magna. back to the whole thing about Tuma and the Sisters
We go
of the
back to the
Skrull.
mighty Tuma.
Yes, back to the mighty Tuma. And the Sisters of the Skrull.
Yep.
And Tuma
And they
is
do a
telling
big
them,
fight.
well, not so much a big fight. More, he's on the ground in pain, and he's begging for his life. And he's saying, hey, listen, look, I can tell you where to maybe find Angons in exchange for you not killing me, and also maybe killing some Batera, please. And they're like,
We would
no.
like to kill some Batera, so
Yeah.
we'll kill some Batera and also kill you.
Well, the Sisters of the Skrull have nothing against the Batera. Like, they've never been killed by one. They've never killed one. They don't
Apparently,
really care.
the Batara never. Apparently, the Batara only attack armed combatants.
Yeah, they kind of imply that here. But
They are
yeah,
basically the Predator.
yeah, we've been over that. But
The
yeah,
only the only winning move is not to play, and that's
Exactly.
a different 80s. That's a different movie. That's a different movie.
but yeah, in case it
different
wasn't
movie,
made
Josie.
totally clear, the Batera will
fucked
not
up.
attack you if you don't
fucked
have a
up,
weapon.
Josie. That's a different movie. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fat bitch.
Whoa.
Want a hug?
No. Yes. Maybe. Hello.
I'm scared.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Don't
Yeah,
hug me,
so
I'm scared.
finally, the big fight: Matanui versus the mighty Tuma.
Yep.
In a one-on-one Glatorian match to decide the fate of his friends.
Yep.
And
Using all the training that Akar gave him over the
Yep.
last 10 minutes.
all the
Basically,
training of look for a
Matanui
weakness.
learned how to. Matanui played a lot of Dark Souls by dodge rolling.
I also
Yes.
want to mention how much better this fight is portrayed in the book than in the
Oh my
movie.
God,
yes.
In the book, it's like an actual fight. He's using his weight against him, making really fast moves where he can't combat properly.
Yep.
In the movie, a Shark Wolf, Dark Wolf in the last episode mentioned something about Tuma being Caesar, and in the movie he literally gets stabbed in the back
3
a
times.
bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every single time,
Yes.
Matanui stabs him with his elbow.
Yeah. This is really stupid.
Stab! Stab! It's like, stop that! I only have so much of my hit point counter left. Stop that!
The movie did not have a very big budget, and they spent most of it trying to recreate Matanui Rising.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they
They
could have
spent
just, you
most
know,
of the budget on the voice actors.
That's true.
That too. Michael Dorn. Matanui needed to be Michael
he's not
Dorn.
cheap. Yeah.
This part
Not
of this fight also, if Matanui can defeat him that easily just because he's like kind of faster than him, and he can now tell when attacks are coming, then surely Akar could have defeated Tuma long ago. Like,
You know,
Consider this, though. Matanui is the god.
yes.
yeah, but also Matanui is canon still not very good at fighting. He's learned one trick, and that
Matanui's
has
the main
yeah.
character. He has plot armor.
Kinda.
Two
yeah.
things. One, here's a dumb question. What if Matanui had lost, his body disappears, and then just reforms again?
That's a fair
Yeah,
point. We
because
don't know if
it's
that's
like,
what
I'm
happens.
going to take that mask
That-
to your face.
That would have
Yeah.
certainly. That would have certainly. I'm pretty
That would have
sure.
been interesting.
That would have been interesting. I'm pretty sure there was no way Matanui could have lost, because if that happened, Tuma would have been so surprised and confused that Matanui could just keep wailing on him.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, we don't
Surprise,
actually
I'm
know what would
life,
happen
bitch.
if Matanui was killed. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Secondly,
The mask is
I
not
have to
gonna
ask
let
the
him
question:
die.
Is Michael Dorn the best voice for Matanui?
Yes.
I can't imagine a better one.
he would
I'm gonna
be
throw
if he
one
had
out there
proper
as well.
direction.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
another one for you. Are you ready? John Delancey.
No,
Oh.
no, I
Actual
disagree entirely.
Star Trek god.
He's
Yeah.
pretty good, but I don't know if he'd be Matanui.
No,
Yeah.
I would absolutely
Okay.
accept him as Makuta though.
Oh yeah.
That would be
As
totally.
Bakuda,
fucking
or
great.
even as, you know what? He would have been interesting as Tuma as well.
Yeah.
I think that would have been an
Or,
interesting direction.
or if they
No, because
continued
he's
on-
because Makuta's a shapeshifter. So I mean,
yeah, that's probably
Q's whole
Yeah,
thing is he
and-
always
and
appears in
Q
different
is-
shapes.
Hey guys, Lego-less Lego.
Oh.
Lego-less
Oh,
Lego.
it's a leg. Oh, I get it.
It's an O made of legs. Oh, Lego.
Oh.
And it has a waffle.
It evolved. And he's got
And
the waffle.
Look, he
got
has
the
a
egg.
waffle. Yeah.
It's evolved. And it's
Oh,
Legolas's Legos.
And he's just staring at it like, what has my life become? I used to be in a movie that nerds really liked, and
It's
then-
Legolas's Lego.
I almost had the girl, even though she shouldn't have been in any sort of love triangle in the first place because she didn't even exist in the
Let's
movie.
not get over that.
Did you know
We
that
are at robot.
Yes.
Not robot.
Did you know that Peter Jackson's first movie was?
Victorian Arena, Stroll,
Yes.
Tuma.
Yes.
Did you know that one of Peter Jackson's first movies was a low-budget Muppets parody called Meet the Feebles?
Cool. But anyway. So, Tuma is defeated rather anticlimactically, especially in the movie version, where he just falls over, and in the movie it's kind of left ambiguous as to whether or not he died there, but in the books we do find out he's just unconscious.
He's entirely shit, to be honest.
Yeah, really didn't put much of a fight.
I mean, basically, Matanui was able to, in 2 days, come in and beat the final boss.
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of annoying, but...
Put it this way, it was a bit of Space Jam logic of, why do you let him push you around? Because he's bigger than us. That's pretty much what the Skrull's whole mentality is.
Yeah, kinda.
He's also
He's
green.
bigger
and
than us.
He's also green, and he liked green.
Actually, yeah, why did Ignika allow him to be killed? To be defeated. Ignika likes green.
Ignika is not conscious while Matanui is in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, too busy
I
maintaining the body.
I have a headcanon that Matanui could probably enter like an avatar state and put Ignika in control sometimes, but he never does it. It'd be neat. Like, well, a thing is happening, and I need the power of life, and I'm too stupid to use it. So I'm gonna put Stumpy in charge.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel.
I've just realised
No.
basically follows the reverse character arc of Bruce Almighty.
He kinda does, yeah.
fuck.
No, at that point he would just have to say, my face, take the wheel.
I'm gonna tweet that now. I'm gonna tweet that now. Bionicle is Bruce Almighty, but backwards.
Yeah?
So anyway, after the defeat of Tuma, Matanui's like, hey, release my friends. And then Metis is like, oh, you silly, silly fool. I was the real guy the whole time.
Me! I was the turkey all along!
I always
It was
knew how
me,
to
Austin!
pick up.
It was me all along, Austin!
Yeah.
I was the turkey all along!
Josie, I'm going to have to request that you never do that again.
That was not a request.
So...
More to the point, I asked it earlier, could we have telegraphed it even harder if we tried? The answer is no. They made it pretty damn obvious from the first 2 seconds he was on screen. He was obviously a bad guy.
Not even that. I guessed literally in the last podcast that he was the traitor. Like, the second he was revealed as a character, I knew that he was the traitor.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, yeah. Matanui's like, Kina is like, the Glatorian are really gonna kill you for this now that we know that you're the traitor. And he's like, who's gonna know? I'll just kill you right now, and then no one will ever know. She's like, oh shit, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right. Shit.
Yeah.
You and what army? This army.
And, Matanui's like, he's going up to Metis to try and, face him off or something. And he sends Click away. He says to Click, save yourself. But we know what's really happening. Cliff.
And in the movie, the guy throws a spear at Click and goes, what is it? Cursed bug?
Insect.
Yeah.
Except the way he said it isn't like cursed insect. It's like cursed insect.
Yeah.
There's no hatred in his voice at all. It's like a statement of fact. That is a cursed insect.
Yeah, it's a cursed insect.
Well, apparently people think Scarabax beetles are pests for whatever reason.
Yeah,
I mean, scarab beetles are pests in real life, so...
Literally everyone that acknowledges...
But these ones are, friendly.
Literally
There's, these bugs have some level of sentience and can understand...
Okay, you say that, but in 2 podcasts ago, Gresh and his friends were in a cave with some Scarabax beetles, and they very, very clearly just, demolished a sandbat.
Yeah.
So,
And also, they will literally eat microwaved shit if you give them half a chance, so they're not really pleasant creatures.
So everyone,
it's just, this one happens to be...
Content warning for what I'm about to link in the Twitter, which will probably fall on deaf ears because I'm the only one afraid of bugs here. This is a Twitter account for a person who has pet beetles, and
this
good boys.
one of them likes to draw with crayons.
Oh, they've got little bat wings. Oh, I love them.
That's their Halloween costume, and there's fan art all throughout of the beetle with the crayon. And it just holds crayons and likes to draw.
One of them is called Spaghetti. Come on, how can you hate them?
Yep, they just got beetles, and also there's an SCP called Editor Beetles, SCP-410. And they're beetles that can proofread.
That's nice.
Spaghetti is my favourite real-life beetle.
Yep, they actually proofread instead of eating, so... Giving them documents full of errors to proofread is actually what they eat.
Interesting.
Weird.
All right, back to the fight.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
The main the one-on-one fight at least is over. But here is a giant beetle malum thing.
I just have in my notes suddenly malum.
Yeah. So this is the only appearance of malum in the movie, and it's not even really malum. It's just beetles that look like him.
I don't even remember.
And
I don't even remember.
I've got the vision in my head of what it's doing. It's just, all I hear is going, rah, rah, rah.
Just swinging in the air.
Yeah, it doesn't even hit anyone. It just looks menacing and they all run away.
Rah, rah.
So, I didn't know I was supposed to watch the movie until... I didn't know I was supposed to watch the movie yesterday. I don't remember this. What the fuck are we talking about?
Okay,
I have this movie ingrained in my brain. I don't need to watch it.
I must not remember this part.
Okay, so do you remember when all the beetles forms that giant colossus?
No!
You don't? Oh my gosh.
You people could be making this up and I would have no idea. What the fuck?
And then we went up to Candy Mountain.
That was not in the movie.
Did you read it in the book? It was in the book as well.
I didn't get there.
Okay.
Because I'm stupid and I read calendars wrong. And I thought yesterday and I thought today was tomorrow.
Well, yesterday's going to be tomorrow.
Did you think we were recording tomorrow or did you think that it was tomorrow?
I thought that we were recording on Friday because I misread the calendar and I thought the 17th was Friday.
Well,
I don't know how I did that. I fucked up.
It's the 18th for me and Levi now.
Josie, I just put an image of what was going on in that scene that we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right, it's not loaded yet, so oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
No! What the fuck?
Yeah, I did wonder what the fuck that was.
That was worth it.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
It's just billions and billions of beetles.
I am literally holding the DVD right now, and I am going to scream at it. What the fuck, movie?
It's like that terrible Batman anime where the monkeys turned into a giant mech.
Oh my god, yes, I remember that.
Oh,
I love that anime.
I somehow knew about that, but not this.
So can we just purchase a bunch of clicks, like the set, and just put them all together?
And then just smash them together into a giant malum?
Yes.
Yes.
Someone who has more
I
money
want to
than
see that
sense.
brick fair. Anyone who's watching in the audience, you have to do this.
Somebody who has
You
more
have
money than
10
sense
months.
by just a shit ton of clicks.
I'll give you
and put
until
them together into
Brick Fair
shape
2021.
There you go.
Nice. So
Still, all I'm seeing is just rawr, rawr. It's
Images
not
you can
touching.
see. Images you can hear.
I'm just so baffled.
How do they make the eyes though?
they turned upside
yellow
down. It's
ones.
yellow underbellies. There you go.
They have yellow abundance.
That's what I'm saying anyway.
I
don't know if that's
was
true.
trying to say yellow underbellies, and I almost said bellow bundies. Oh god.
So-
Or maybe they're yellow scarebacks.
Maybe.
It's their udders.
Or maybe that's just a big. Or maybe those are just big holes in the head.
Maybe that is the background.
Yeah. Maybe they were like, "Oh, we don't know how to do
That
this."
is the second thing my mind has been blown. Nope, it's definitely yellow.
Oh,
That's
okay.
light. What if that's light piping?
Anyway, Matanui goes to save Kina and Barracks. In the book, like, they don't say that the cage was very high up, so I can understand him, cutting the cord and letting them drop to the ground. But in the movie, they are clearly like hundreds of feet in the air. They should be dead from that fall.
Oh, absolutely.
No. No, they're tough. They're strong.
They walk out of it without a single broken bone.
They're strong.
Well, what was the why were they kept in such a high cage then, if it wasn't a danger to them?
So that everyone can see them and laugh at them and throw peanuts.
You have to be pretty strong to throw a peanut that far.
They are the straw.
Yeah.
Maybe
suppose.
that's how they finally.
They have
earned
to
their
be
name.
that high up so that when they throw the peanuts, it doesn't go through their skulls.
Oh, okay.
No, you know what? Maybe that's how they earn their name. They have to throw a peanut far enough to hit the people they've gotten crap, and that they could do it. It's kind of like ringing the bell at the fair or at the carnival. And you have to smash it down with a hammer, and it goes up to the top. If you could throw the peanut and hit the small dude in the head, not only do you get a name, but you may also get to eat that week.
I zoned out. Now we're talking about peanuts.
So, anyway, yeah. So the Matanui crashes the cage into the ground, rescues Kina and Barracks, gives Kina a weapon back. Cool. Everybody's grateful and happy. And yeah, the bug homunculus dissipates.
The bug homunculus.
Right.
I mean, that's exactly what it is.
The humbugulus?
The humbugulus.
I should leave
Liam,
just
I think
on that
that-
alone.
I think that joke was hubunculus.
So,
The bumcunculus.
so
Somebody
it-
wake me up when we're done with puns.
Yes, so it dissipates, and behind it, who was standing there but a bunch of Glatorian? Oh, they came to help after all. Hooray. It turns out that if your unity is bigger than the bad guy's unity, then you win. Yay.
Yeah, that's.
Is that like a penis
that's-
joke or something?
Sure. Let's go with that.
I mean,
Uh,
it kind of goes back to the ending of the third movie, which was you need loyalty to command an army for some reason. And since they were always enslaved and not really loyal in the first place.
Nope,
That's
nope. Unity is so important because you need to unite to form a big penis.
Yeah.
It's the fourth human centipede movie.
Okay.
Sure.
Bionicles is just the fourth human centipede movie, which I'm not going to tweet from Bionicles because acknowledging that movie exists might be too much for our baby audience of babies.
Might be a bit much for a family-friendly Twitter account, yeah.
Matoran centipede would be devastating.
No.
So, yeah, so everybody is fighting off what remains of the Skrull, the Bone Hunters. Because, they want to drive them out of Roxas,
I'm sorry,
shake
did
them up
you
a bit.
say bone hunters?
Yeah, there's Bone Hunters. Sorry.
No, you said bone hunters, but the way you pronounced it, it sounded like you said bone udders.
I'm sure there's plenty of Bone Udders too.
Where else would you get the bone milk?
Exactly.
Oh, that makes sense. The milk is stored in the bones.
But how do you milk a bone?
Through the bone udders.
Yeah. Yeah, don't you know anything about
The
science?
joke was, how do you milk an almond?
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, but how do you get the cream for the cream of chicken stew?
Is the almond
But how did they get the caramel
The
into
soup,
caramel
even.
into a caramel
Moving
chocolate bar?
on.
Caramel.
So, Metis
But
is...
can we
Let
see
us
what
run away.
kids dig?
Caramel chameleon?
Metis tries to run away in all the confusion, but Matanui spots him, chases
Silly
him down.
Metis tricks are for kids.
Oh, God.
And then there's a very suggestive scene in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Matanui picks Metis
I
up.
have what I want.
Yeah.
You!
Pulls him close.
And then they smooch.
I expect the fan edit with some sexy music right then and there.
Wait, we can make a deal. I'll give you whatever you want.
I have what I want. You.
I wanna tell you what I'm feeling, but I don't know how to start. I wanna tell you, but now I'm afraid that you might break my heart. Oh, why should anything so easy ever be so hard to do? I wanna tell you what I'm feeling and to say that I love you.
Yeah, just get the fucking
And
George
slowly
Michael's going
bringing
there.
Menace in.
Yeah.
Well, you see, he was voiced by Michael Dorn, and the Klingons, you know.
Are very passionate
They are
race.
rough lovers, you know.
Yes.
I mean, they also have opera, so
That's true. So, and yeah, anyway. Metis becometh snake.
I bet
He's a
I bet
sneaky
Marvin-
boy.
Matanui is very good in bed, yep.
So,
I'm pretty sure he hasn't tested it out before. Then again, Kina's really keen to find out.
And we're done with this conversation.
I'm sorry, did you just say Kina is very keen?
Nope.
eh,
Nope. Nope.
So,
Nope.
Anyway,
Metis-
so Matanui turns the snake guy into a snake.
yeah.
'Cause
Now he's just as much of a snake on the outside as he is on the inside. Hooray!
Yep.
That was a lot weirder than I remember it being.
I mean,
Symbolism.
it is pretty weird, but yeah, symbolism.
Pretty much.
I'll be
And,
back.
We are coming up on
you
our
will,
fourth
for a
hour.
little short
Yeah.
episode thingy.
We are barreling towards the end. We should really just get this over with.
Yes.
So, Matanui goes back to help the other guys. They all finally remember to use those elemental powers that he gave them. And they blast away all the Skrull in one blow, pretty much.
No, not true. It's not enough. So Matanui then comes to
yeah,
help
of
and
course.
blasts them with the
Yeah,
power
yeah.
of life.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Which I would have thought, why would blasting someone with the power of life do any damage whatsoever? I would have
Yeah,
thought
as
they'd come out
opposed
like
to
clean
blasting
and
someone with
shiny and
fire.
blue.
Considering it's the Mask of Life, and what the Mask of Life kind of does, one would imagine that if Matanui was going to use it combatively, he would have to use, you know, the big kill.
Yeah, I know, but
No,
it's like
no.
they're like specifically sending out elemental energy.
and
and
it
if the
specifically says the
element-
power of life.
You're
Yeah.
misunderstanding stuff. So pain is an aspect of life,
True.
and so Matanui can theoretically perform any action that would cause pain, like blasting fire from his fingertips.
Or or just the nature of the elemental energy is pain.
That's true. It could be
So,
like a,
are we saying
life-draining
Matanui?
being.
Oh god, I just realized. So you can get Avok to be the jailer, and Matanui could be the torturer.
Yeah, but I don't think.
And
he's
it would be
into torture,
efficient
so-
because you only feel pain but no marks, and he could just heal you right then and there to
Well,
set you up for the
sounds
next
like
day.
together the two of them used the element of surprise.
The secret 18th element of the Bionicle universe.
He can make you die 1,000 times a second.
Oof.
Yep.
Matanui confirmed Diavolo.
So, anyway.
Or no, actually, no, he's literally Gold Experience Requiem.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
he has the power of life and infinite death.
I just tried to do the JoJo thing a cappella. I'm sorry. Put in the JoJo song.
Yeah, sure.
Or at least as close as you're going to get without getting copyright strike.
You
And again,
have that piano
have we ever been
slowly
monetized?
fade in.
Yeah, you know that one action
monetized
track
a
that
couple
plays
times.
when stuff happens. Joe, da 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 da.
Okay, but now has it ever been because of us, or has it been for a third party?
Actually, most of the times we've been demonetized because we aren't family friendly.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
You
but if-
screamed penis in the first minute. What do you expect?
And that episode was just fine.
Meanwhile,
weirdly.
Demonetized about that.
Meanwhile, if your content is too family friendly, you're still demonetized. Isn't that nice?
Anyway, so
What do you want, YouTube?
moving on.
Exactly
so-
one boop.
There is a quick fake out where it looks like Barracks is dead, and then Keena's like, Barracks, where are you?
Yeah,
And he says,
okay,
"Oh, I'm over
no,
here."
I just want to mention one thing. It was the one, I forget what episode it is. I think it was episode 13. Yeah, actually, it was the last episode you were on, Swert. What a coincidence. That one got demonetized, but it was like, you know, we screamed penis in the beginning of the first episode, but it took the one with the word die in the title before we actually got demonetized.
Yeah, the title is more important than the content, but the first minute of the content is also important, but just less important.
Yeah. So,
Do you know what
I
else
guess
was
if
weird
you
about
entitled
that?
to guess I'll sacrifice myself, that might have been better.
Like for instance, if we edited out all of the shit in this episode, including the word shit, that's not family friendly, like this sentence, like this paragraph of with
In
my
fact,
mouth.
how about we edit it out right now?
But we put the
What
word
if we
fuck-
edited out the entire rest of the episode? Wait, no!
but so like if we edited out all the bad stuff, but we put the fuck word in the title, yeah, the episode would still be demonetized.
What in the HE double fuck are you talking about?
So, anyway, back to the book. So, yeah, quick fake out where it looks like Barracks is dead, turns out he's alive, yay, cool, everybody's happy, nice.
Oh yeah, we kind of glossed over the fucking ridiculous slapstick with Barracks earlier, by the way.
That didn't happen in the book, by the way, not
I
so
just
much
have
anyway.
that in my notes as shenanigans ensue.
Barracks just is shenanigans.
Yeah, especially in the movie version.
Yeah, I went over this briefly in the chat earlier, but we haven't been over in the episode. Barracks is played off entirely as comic relief in this entire movie, and it's a real shame because James Arnold Taylor is typecast so much, but as is evident with the last few Ratchet & Clank games, he can do really good, like, serious shit. And apparently he
There's
also
some
played
really
Obi-Wan in Clone Wars.
Clone Wars?
In
Clone
Klondike.
Wars,
In
Clone
Klondike.
Wars.
Star Wars Klondike Bar!
Point is,
He has some really solid acting in this movie as well.
Clone War?
Well, point is, in half the shit James Arnold Taylor is in, I feel like they just tell him, yeah, do the Johnny Test voice.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He really
Until you
does
get
some
to
really
Lucasfilms
good
and it's
shit
like,
in this
okay,
movie.
do the Johnny Test voice, but better.
Curtis, can you please insert that whip crack sound effect that Johnny Test really loves?
50 times right now.
Yeah, that's like in it's in every episode at least once.
I think they just use it for every scene change.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also that. Like people on Reddit were joking before the episode of Steven Universe called "Crack the Whip" aired. People were joking that was going to be a Johnny Test crossover.
No, I thought you were I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna say like that's how they get James Arnold Taylor to keep doing that. That's not a sound effect. That's just the producers in the studio whipping him to keep him doing the fucking voice.
You know what?
You know what? Okay,
You know what?
I'm gonna make
That
this
shows-
audible right now. We need to retroactively, every time there's a jump cut in this episode, it has to be that whip crack.
Yes, okay.
I love it. I love
anyway,
it. And it won't make sense until this
Weeks
exact
later.
moment.
Yes, so,
Yes.
on. So, the Skrull are scattered, the Bone Hunters are pretty rattled, Metis probably got eaten by a sand bat or something, all's good in the world. Let's pull all the villagers together. Including the Skrull
having a
one.
bunch of beetles doing it.
Yeah, a bunch of beetles and some guys,
They
some
just
Agori,
the
and some
Beatles
Klaras.
just want to feel included.
How heavy must these things be, by the way? Because these are, thousands of feet tall and wide pieces of metal.
I don't know. How heavy is the Matoran universe?
I don't know.
And then
Actually, that brings up a decent point. What is the density of Protodermis?
So here's the deal. Protodermis, I like to think of as Mercury because of the typo from the book.
Yeah.
Once.
Yeah.
But also, these robots, you have to remember, they're designed to manipulate gravity. So it might be innate. It might be innate because of magic. So maybe they're not really that heavy.
I always liken Protodermis to almost being like, almost like a bone density, where it's very rigid, but it's also very hollow, so it might be light.
I'd like to think of Protodermis as like somewhere around the density of aluminum.
James Arnold Taylor played Green Arrow in Lego DC Supervillains. He played Magneto in Marvel Powers United VR.
Cool. Anyway, so yeah, all the guys, they pull the villagers together. What do you know? It's a giant robot. How about that? And
I love this. I love this. By the way, like the other day, Levi was in the chat going on like,
Yes.
They better not make another Matanui. They're making another Matanui.
Yeah, they fucking did.
Oh,
This is literally Matanui's prototype body.
Yep.
Now that I've given up on the series having any respect at all for the readers, I'm getting a lot more accurate with my predictions.
Oh yeah.
So
Because you would never have made this prediction 2 months ago, would you have?
No, I wouldn't have made almost any of these predictions because I had respect for the series and its writers.
Hey guys.
So what do you predict will happen? I'm actually
guys.
curious.
James Arnold
Matanui's gonna
Taylor-
fly back to fucking his world on a giant fucking metal horse, and he's gonna stab Makuta through the throat. And he's gonna bleed Matoran all over the world, and then everyone will be happy. The end.
That sounds like a heavy metal album, like cover art for.
Well,
Probably not even that far off.
unfortunately, we can't do that at all yet because it's not ready yet.
He's gonna throw both the small planets into Baramagna, and they're gonna merge together, and it's gonna be the apocalypse, and everyone will be happy because there'll be no more suffering. The end.
Well, we'll see about that.
Oh boy.
We'll see.
So
we'll see.
I know for a fact
James Arnold
I know for
Taylor
a fact-
played Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man.
Cool. Swert?
I asked you the question while you were reading this, and I was going to bring it up again. And I'm trying to find what I asked you so I can word it exactly the way I did.
I have forgotten anyway, so now is a good. I can re-answer the question.
Johnny Test was in Fusion Fall.
It's fine. It was back on. Okay.
James Arnold Taylor played the Fallen in the Transformers Revenge of the Fallen video game.
Okay.
So you had asked. So first of all, this was around the time when you asked about Metis, and that area. So hang on. Oh, it's a little bit further back because we were just still talking about Scotland. Oh, and the animals.
Yeah, that whole
That's
thing.
the conversation
King Alan.
we had. Fucking lions and.
Why
I was very
why
tired.
do you like this, Swerve? Why didn't you wait until you had it before you paused the entire 3 hour and 45 minute recording?
Nope, 3 hour and 51 to my count.
Oh, well then.
James
How
Arnold.
about I just
Taylor
search for my
played-
name and I'll pull up everything I just
353?
fucking said.
James Arnold Taylor played the badass prison warden ghost from Danny Phantom. And Willy Wonka in a video game.
I
swear
literally
to God,
said...
we're going to move on.
Stand by, stand by.
We're
God.
almost done. We're almost done.
No, this episode.
5,
Five.
4, 3.
We're literally at robot being
God
put
damn it,
together.
We're almost done now. We're done. Stop. No, we're moving on. Curtis, go.
Okay, so
No, hang on. I got it.
No,
Hang on.
hang on.
fine, go, Swirt, go.
Crap, and then the search bar broke.
Moving on.
Okay, if you find it by the end of the episode, you can say it then. Sorry.
James Arnold Taylor has played Fred Flintstone.
Josie,
Barracks.
we don't care.
Barracks has a coin, and the coin's got a robot on it. I don't know, it's from the cave or something he got this coin in. It's got the robot on one side, and it's got a map on the other side, and that map is also on the Skrull shield. What's it a map of? I don't know, but it's cool that it's on the Skrull shield and also on the coin. Neat.
And it's also fucking tiny and not very complicated, and also, why the fuck has it taken the Element Lords this long to get in there?
Well, there's a bit more to the maze than it lets on. So, you know.
I'm just saying, for a maze, it's not very mazy.
Yeah, I suppose.
Maybe.
There's
it
like
doesn't
7 walls.
Maybe it doesn't like the Element Lords.
Yeah, you ever think about that?
Oh, is that all I asked?
So,
Wow, now you're doubting the purpose of your question entirely. Fantastic.
So the question was asked, were you more surprised by this reveal over the 2005 trailer? As far as
no, I wasn't
Menace?
surprised at all by this reveal.
Okay, so I'm going to modify my question a little further. Were you more surprised by this reveal than the 2008 reveal? Probably
Again,
not.
I wasn't surprised at all by this reveal. I don't get why... It wasn't a reveal. It was a, yes, this statement of fact has now been made. It's like confirming that water is wet.
yeah.
Wait, water is wet? Oh my god, mind blown! Oh,
But
the
can
theories
water
were
get
true.
wet?
Wait, what?
But can water get wet?
Holy
Only if-
shit!
Only
Actually,
Deep
yes,
lore.
it specifically can.
The deep lore!
Anyway, so, Matanui and his friends are like, yay, we're cool, let's go on an adventure in the movie's sequel. Hooray!
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my last note. Sequel hook for sequel that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
Yep.
these days we only make movies that we expect to be trilogies.
Well, it's alright. You know, they'll just use that budget for a TV show for a different storyline.
Yeah. The thing is, though, like, at this point, they must have known that they weren't getting a sequel. Like, considering when it released.
No, here's the
no.
thing. No, they didn't, because this was all done back in 2008. If not sooner.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah,
They didn't know they were going to get canceled until literally, like, December of 2008, early 2009.
Yeah, Lego.
So they had to mad scramble.
Lego didn't know how bad their budget was going to get.
But, I mean, for the movie's sake, specifically, like, they
Right.
couldn't have rewritten the end of the movie to not be quite so sequel-baity?
Well, there's
Probably
only
not.
so much you can do.
I mean,
Like,
it had to end on a very specific note. It's like, I hope we can get you back to where you belong. I hope so too. That's
Like,
still technically a hook for another movie.
Like the
Yeah, I
ending of the
guess.
movie is so open ended that there's no way to rewrite it to not be sequel bait.
I
The only
suppose
way
so.
you could do it different is if you took what's going to happen next and just slap it in the movie. But I guarantee that would have ruined the entire movie.
Well, that's how you end up with Journey to One, so, yeah. I guess.
Hi-yo.
Anyway, so...
Oh,
yeah.
what could have been?
So a quick lightning round of things that happen right at the end. We get the last chapter of Matanui's diary, because that's been a thing all throughout this. But in the last chapter, he specifically says he wants to use this robot body to, like, challenge the old one.
Because he doesn't have any concept of the sense of scale.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
also says he
Like,
needs
yep.
to find a power source for this
So
one. So that'll be
basically,
interesting.
I don't think he knows quite how tall he was as a big boy, and he doesn't realize that this robot is.
I don't think the writers knew how tall.
Yeah.
This robot is literally 10 times smaller than his big body.
Well, it's not quite
So-
that much smaller.
It's very
So
small.
I know what Matanui's power source is going to be. He's going to create a micro universe where all they're going to do is push some levers back and forth all day, and that's their job. It's an economy based entirely on moving a bunch of levers around.
When Matanui gets in this robot and faces against Makuta, it's like that episode. It's like the
We're
finale.
not talking about that right now.
It's like the finale of Steven Universe.
Okay.
When the crystal gems all form a big whirl, and then a robot stomps down, and its foot is bigger than they are.
Okay. But anyway, yeah.
And yes,
that micro universe of pushing levers that you were just talking about, does that mean Matanui could shout to them all the time, Kronk, pull the lever?
Yes.
And there would be no wrong lever.
I was actually about to say he's going to invent a new language altogether and just tell everybody to go blow themselves, and that's just a sign of world peace.
I mean, he can even specifically make them all believe that their names are Kronk, so...
I basically stuck a Rick and Morty reference in. I'm sorry, but at the same time, I'm not even sorry.
And,
Yeah, if I had to create an entire universe, I would make everyone Patrick Warburton.
Stephen Colbert would have been an interesting match.
We're right near the end.
Okay,
I've
it's
really
time
gotta
to wrap
finish.
this up now.
Yes. So
Yes.
the guys,
Please.
It briefly mentions that their next mission is to go north, so they're going north. They fight some Batera. Just gonna gloss over that, and Matanui's talking about not being alone. He's not alone anymore. He's got friends. Cool, brilliant. That's the end of where we read today. And for next time, we are
Barracks became a chronicler.
Oh yeah, Barracks is like an honorary chronicler. That's the thing. Anyway,
Or, as we established, a chronicler.
a chronicler. Yeah.
He's collecting the stories.
He's the crinkler. He's not the chronicler. He's the crinkler.
Yes. Next time on the show, we will be reading the rest of Book 9. So for the web version, that's chapters 42 through to the Epilogue, and for the web version, for the PDF version, it's chapters 43 through to the Epilogue.
I'll try not to
Swerts,
fuck up.
Orikume, who is your guy? Just
Yes.
kidding, we all know it's Click. Right, we're done.
No,
Yes.
no, it's not.
It is, though.
No, it's
Trick question. Click is everyone's guy.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no.
I've made it.
I didn't say mine
wait,
for the
we did
verse.
call
You're
Also
not
one of
allowed to
the-
have a differing opinion.
What about Menace's Revenge?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's cool, and Click
He
is
wiggles
nice.
his butt. It's good. Right.
There's the
Quick,
gift on screen right now.
Put the
Best
outro
boy.
out with him
Best
just
boy
wiggling his
Takua.
butt.
Yes. There we go. That's the end.
Takua!
Goodbye.
I am Takua.
Goodbye forever. I'm dead.